welcome YouTubers. Or, well, actually, nobody's watching right now because you can't really like hunt. You can't like stalk YouTube stream really. So there's just nobody here. I mean, you could, I guess you can put it up early and you could have the thumbnail come up early, but I don't have that kind of foresight. So I just go live. Maybe that's what's affecting my numbers. Maybe if I make that thumbnail earlier in the day and figure out what I'm doing, maybe then I can have a little bit of lead-in time for the stream. I certainly don't have like days of lead-in time for a stream. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow or the previous day or the next day or any day really. All right, remove source and then auto find and activate. There we go. There's YouTube up. There's Twitch up. And now both of my viewers can talk to each other across platform. I think these beams might have been a little bit much. I think maybe I should have gone with the lightweight ones. I don't know if the lightweight ones are cheaper. These are like your standard 4040 rail from McMaster Car. But this is your standard 4040 rail, and like that's a lot of material. That is a lot of material. It's a lot to cut through too when you have to cut these things, and I'm probably gonna have to cut these things. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I'm all itchy because I actually trimmed my beard, believe it or not. Believe it or not, this thing takes a little bit of maintenance sometimes. This camera's too high, isn't it? This needs to come down a little bit. You need to come down a little bit. Yeah, you were showing too much of the ceiling. Too much of the ceiling. There we go. Yeah, that's a little bit more like it. Maybe just a little, maybe it just come out just a little bit. Yeah, you guys don't need to, you don't need to see me showing off all that neck. All right, Friday. I'm gonna work on this sim rig a little bit, and I kind of want to deal with some of this stuff, the steering stuff, because I bought an entire Mercedes-Benz steering column. The whole thing. Let's put up start soon, since we're not actually going yet. No, that's lights. I hit the lights button. Is that an ad? Are they doing ads? What is, what? No, unreleased. No, the world's gone mad. We're doing instrumentals of Handsome a Boy Modeling School, which is a pretty good hip-hop album, to be honest. Yeah, I want to get rid of this little collar and see what I can do with this, because I think this is going to have to trim. Maybe we'll bring in the motor on something else, but we'll try to put beams up, and then I've got to, like, yeah, figure this whole thing out, because it's supposed to, this goes, you know, to the front axle of the car from the steering rack, which is adjustable. And so in order to have that adjustability, this thing, hey presto, it can extend and contract as you adjust your steering. So there's very little mechanical slop in this thing. I can't feel slop at all, even from both ends, even though we are adding in a splined reticulating dingle arm. I want to get the rubber off of this thing. I don't think I'm going to preserve the rubber. I think I'll just cut it so you can actually see the extension extending. And get rid of this, whatever the hell, mount to the firewall. I guess this is our golden angle here too. This I think is the same angle as the brakes that the brakes sit on. Anyway, but yeah, that's got to go. And then I think there's like a rubber coupling in here that I could maybe use to mount this thing so that I can. Hey, Madam U, what's going on? But then all I really need on the other end to attach the rest of my stuff is this right here. It would be nice if I could run a wire through the middle, but I don't think that's going to happen. Hey, there's everybody. It took a minute for people to show up. What up, Bothan and K-Tronics and Bothan again. Yeah, so this is going to be a trip. This is going to be a trip getting this thing to work, because I need this in order to run my motor away from the top of the steering column. Usually they'll put the motor up at the top of the steering column in these sim setups. I could have done that. That would have been nice and easy, but we're not about easy here. We're about funny. So doing the funniest thing is incorporating more car parts into my fake car. The sim setup is going to be so heavy. It's going to be so heavy. I'm putting an 18-pound motor on it. That might as well be like a locomotion motor. I might as well put that as like the drivetrain and put some batteries in it and call it a go-kart. That's all it would take. All I need is just a drive motor and something to turn the wheels in the right direction. But I spent a bunch of time yesterday machining a bracket that it would take a CNC like half hour to make. It took me like 3 hours to make these two. I taped 2 pieces of aluminum together and did all the, you know, lining it up, going across, flipping it, going across, lining up the other end, going across, flipping it, going across, and then doing the ends so that they were square. And then drilling all the holes in the right places, even though there's a lot of wiggle room in this in the beam system. There's a lot of wiggle room. It doesn't need to be amazingly precise, but you know, I did it the machining way, which took me a long time and created an entire ecosystem of aluminum chips that I'm going to be cleaning up for months. Whereas, flip the bracket, wash your hands. Flip the bracket, wash your hands. I turn the page, I wash my hands. Yeah, so these will do well. I could put them on the sander and like really round the edges, but I did a little bit of like a file job on the edges. That's all they really need, right? Just as long as every day when I look at them, I don't feel something, and I don't feel anything looking at these, so I think we're okay. I think we're okay. I have like a hair spike right here that I probably should have trimmed out, huh? It's just where my hair, it just naturally goes that direction. I don't see it because when I'm trimming my beard, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm like blocking my own view of my beard. I think I did okay. I'm just not going to think about it anymore until it gets Sam Squanchy like it gets. The other part that I'm wondering about is like, and I've just been thinking about this idly on the side, is how I'm going to mount the turn signals and the windshield washer things, the windshield wipers and stuff. How am I going to mount the stalks? Hold on, let's get the drive shaft, or the steering shaft. I keep calling it drive shaft. What's up, Flask? Let's just put that somewhere on the floor. Oh, it did make a huge clattering bang. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. My neighbors here say that a lot. Whenever the dog does something, they go, oh, that's nice. It kind of like you hear it when you first hear it, and you hear them say that for like everything. Start to wonder about their mental acuity when everything is nice. Oh, that's nice. It's like, okay. All right, getting a little creeped out by this. A little Stepford Wivesy kind of thing going on with that phrase. Isn't that special? Yeah, it's a little Midwesterny, isn't it? A little Midwesterny. And it's not like acerbic at all. They're not like being mean by saying that. It's just their reaction to almost literally everything. What are you mining? What's going on? Ow. I got chips all over my desk. Hold on. Wow, significant amount of time before the tracks when you do a YouTube playlist. Can we proofread, please? You're putting a big burden on me until you correct yourself. Like, what? Social energy in general is crazy. Let's get a light over here. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, you can tell a lot of projecting happened in the meantime in the background here because everything is just all over the place and there's stuff thrown out. What I was talking about with these, I think I'm gonna have to like scan them, and then I might be, because all I want is these 2 bolt locations and to keep clear of this stuff back here. These do not speak CAN bus. I will have to make something that speaks CAN bus for them. What they do is they have a bunch of different voltage levels depending on what button and movement it is. This one may be individual wires, but on the windshield washers, the clicks of this thing were 2 different. Well, sorry, it was a resistor ladder that sent out different voltage levels instead of having individual wires for each function. This one might be individual because it's literally like up, down, button, pull. Oh, and push. What is push again? This one is flash head. Oh, it's headlights. That's right. Yeah. Let's turn on headlights. Somehow the swipe keyboard has gotten worse. I've been saying this for years. There are times when the swipe keyboard updates, and I think they made it update more surreptitiously. But swipe keyboard periodically talks like normies. And when it starts talking like normies, it doesn't make any goddamn sense what you're typing, because we all talk in weird technicalese, right? Or at least I do. So whenever Swipe updates, I suddenly can't type. I have to correct every single word. And just on the cusp of it getting how I talk, it starts to normalize itself and it starts becoming the fast swipe typing that I'm used to. And then it updates. And then we're back at square one, and it's just guessing on sentence structure and good pronunciation and grammar. My SO could hold a Razr phone in one hand and drive with the other hand while writing a whole essay in 9-key. I never got that far into 9-key. I was okay at it. You know, I was never one of these people that could do it blindly and just because people could really excel at typing in 9-key. It was kind of incredible back in the day. I got okay at it. I would always proofread what I wrote, and then I would get something wrong. But Swipe is like the new 9-key. Swipe is like awesome. I had that on my Android early, and my friends with Apple phones saw it and they were jealous. And I'm like, you'll get it eventually. Now they have it, but the problem is their stupid input to whatever AI it uses is poisoning the system. I used to be able to type really fast in Swipe typing. So yeah, this is a BMW turn signal. Haha, make your jokes. But what it does is, let's see if we can see that. When you turn the turn signal, that little thing pops out. This is a little guy, just a little guy. If I push it directly backwards, it does nothing. If I go the opposite direction, it does nothing. So you can turn the wheel, click past this thing, and then if it goes the other direction, pop, it pops out of turn signal. And if I go up, it does the same thing, but in the other direction. So I can get a little pawl, P-A-W-L, past this, and then when it returns, boop, we're out of turn signal. So I want to incorporate that in the setup. When it goes next to the steering column, I have, or had, I'm not sure at this point, I'll have to look around for it. I have the clock spring for the BMW steering wheel. And I'm not sure if I can incorporate that, or if I should just 3D print something to go around the steering shaft and it'll just hold these. There's a notch in the wheel itself, and I don't know if I can get this close enough to that notch. Here, let me get the wheel. It's right behind me. I'll get the stool in there with the steering wheel on it. I'll take a look at that. Breakdown. Why is that song stuck in my head? I'm listening to too many of those chill mixes. All right, this thing right here, not light. Oh, dear God. Okay. This is significantly increasing the weight of the overall setup here, and we need to retract that column a little bit. Ugh, this is going to be very annoying with the mic cable. How are we doing this Friday? Yeah, we're going to look at some of this stuff, see if I can't come up with something. We'll mount the big beamises that I'm going to have to cut at some point, probably when people leave the house, so I'm not causing a huge ruckus. All right, hold on. No, it's not. It isn't can. Oh, you're making a can joke. You're making a joke. It's always a joke. Is that all I am to you? All right, so this is our LIN bus wire right here to get the digital signals out. But this wheel has, well, it's got two notches. It's got two little notches on the back. And I'm wondering if that means something like the turn signal goes here. So when I turn the wheel, it'll brush past this thing, and then I go the other way and it'll cancel it out. I don't know. That's pretty close to the, why isn't it deactivating? Oh, there it is. I mean, it would have to go just like that far. I have to be pretty close in, but then the stalk is kind of way behind things. Is that where it's supposed to be? Not really. It would be kind of funny to have that. I mean, maybe there's something else that I can use that twists properly. Still unsure what food to order tonight. I'm settling on burgers. I had some chicken wings that I fried. I did the whole double batter frying thing, and I forgot. I did not, because it was the first time I was doing a double batter fry. I didn't actually spice the batter, or the whatever, the dredge. Not the dredge, it's the stuff you put the stuff you're sticking to the chicken. I didn't spice that properly, so they tasted like flour. Next time I'll know that I need to put all the herbs and spices in that flour, because otherwise it'll just taste like flour. I guess that is the dredge. Still, Judge Dredge. One day we'll get the horn back on this thing too. Yeah, dry the wets, wet the dries, dry the wets. I was thinking about that meme the whole time I was cooking. It's like, why are we drying the wets? We got to wet the dries. Now we got to fry the wets. Then we got to dry the wets and wet the dries. And I don't know if this thing is going to be responsible for hitting the turn signal on and off. Because it really should be like out here, shouldn't it? Where it's a little bit beyond that. I'll have to look at how my car is laid out, if my steering wheel blocks the turn signal. It should be something that I can just, hit with my hand still on the wheel. Which is kind of where this is, but I'm pretty sure that I can see that stuff. And also, we got to get the angle of this thing right. This thing needs to be tilted just a little bit in front of you, because that's how car steering wheels are. Should be interesting. I'm not really sure what I can do. The other thing that I did was, in preparation of the fact that tomorrow we get completely fucking buried by snow, we've got something like 10 to 30 feet. The weather report was hilariously inclusive of any sort of scenario, because we might just get rain. So the prediction said 0 to 23 inches. 0 inches of snow to 23 inches of snow. They were terrified of getting it wrong. If we get 24 inches of snow, it'll be very funny, because then they'll be wrong. And they left themselves such a huge window of potential amounts of snow. Bro, it's negative 11 here. That just means this room is going to get hotter. That's what always happens, because my unfortunately old roommates, I call them roommates just so that you guys aren't as intrusive into my life, and how shitty I have it right now. But they just turn up the heat and they don't care. So the heat will be at like 72 degrees. I survive in the 60s. Like 65 is like warm and comfortable for me. Right? I generate heat. You guys saw me on the thermal camera just then. If I sit in a friend's car in the middle of winter, I will fog all of the windows on my side of the car. That's just how I operate. I don't get it. I don't know what it is. I'm always thirsty. I'm always sweating. I'm always giving off steam practically. But yeah, so I'm torturously, it's like a I don't know, one of those movies where people get their comeuppance by means of living situations, because like I exist in the cold, I love the cold, and this room is the hottest room in the house, and it's got all my stuff in it. I like the end stock. It doesn't even reach the outer edge of the wheel. Like the end of the stock doesn't reach the outer end of the wheel. Yeah, let's just here. Let's see if we can just pull up an example. I could literally just walk out to my car and take a look, but BMW steering wheel. We just want to see one in situ. It's a tiny, tiny little image from ECS Tuning. Yeah, the stocks stick out just a little bit. So I'm probably going to need to come up with something that brushes that little pin in order to have realized... What are we doing here? What is going on there? What is that? Looks like it's cut out. That's really weird. That's a nice wheel. I would love to have that wheel. So the stocks, no, they're not. They're back there. If there even are stocks. There should be a turn signal. Let's be fair. There should be a turn signal on this beast. I should probably get a wheel adjusting lever too, because there's a third lever that sticks down a little bit that you use to adjust the position of the wheel on a BMW. If I want to keep things consistent, my E46 stocks, I've got this and the windshield wiper one, and so if I bought another one, it would have to go down here somewhere, and that could be the wheel position adjust. I bought the Mercedes steering wheel very specifically because it's got up, down, left, and right on it, and then it also has these as buttons on the back. They're just simple little buttons. Doot, 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 doot. So if I wanted to, what originally this was going to be all there was to it, I wasn't going to have a shifter. I could eventually maybe get something like that on it. But I have actually like a gated shifter, which I prefer to use. Instead of telling the motor when to shift, I shift it. But if I wanted to tell the motor when to shift, I've got these available to me. This is, I've been thinking, let's go to a different one. Hip hop. But yeah. There's a lot to figure out with this thing. There's a lot still to figure out. There's no tutorial for what I'm building, and we've got to take it piece by piece. The angle of the master cylinder was our first kind of weird thing about the car, to get the pedals into the right position. We may power on the seat today, and I'll adjust the seat a little bit so that I'm sitting in more of a car position. Right now it's in sort of a natural like sitting position, which is not how a car is. You're actually leaning back just a little bit into the seat. Yeah, we're gonna get completely buried in snow tomorrow. It's like something like 0 to 50 feet of snow, and I don't know what that means. I think I'll stream tomorrow. If I'm not feeling bad, I'm gonna stream tomorrow, and then I'm debating about Sunday, whether or not I want to stream on Sunday. But I might be busy clearing snow. That might actually be what I do all day on Sundays, shovel the driveway 3 times, just because you want to get ahead of this one, because this one's going to get tamped down by freezing rain. We are right on the line. Yeah, we're going to get 50 to 500 feet of snow, but we are right on the line of where the snow turns into freezing mix, and what that's going to do is coat everything, tamp down the snow that's there, so it's not going to be the 23 inches that they predict, but then we get blistering cold after that, and so all that shit's gonna freeze. So the snow's gonna get tamped down, all of it's gonna freeze, we're gonna be walking on top of it, almost Russian levels of snow, yeah. 50 to 1,000 feet, yeah, it's a lot of snow that's coming this way. Sweeping America. All across America! Wait, what is that? Held message! Views available at Streambo. Okay. At least Automod is finally holding the buy viewers messages. Man, they stole Spooky Plebicite TXV. Maybe that isn't such a good screen name. I thought that was a good screen name. How do I ban you? I guess Automod is holding the message. Do I release? Oh, expired and not posted in chat. Okay, so that's a weird one. But I can't ban them from here? Oh, whatever. Who cares? I'll let the dogs out. -3. You got to give me a C or an F on that one, because -3 is like 20-ish in F, right? Which isn't that bad. That's F. Okay, that is very bad. That's cold. That is cold. That is cold. I don't know what the temperatures are going to be around here. It's going to be annoying, though. These are actually a complete pain in the butt to machine. I had the 3D print of it that we did yesterday, or day before yesterday. Well, I had the 3D print, and I was able to lay that down and do a little marking on it. But the thing that really saved me was taping the 2 pieces of aluminum together. -3C is almost comfortable. That's pretty rip-roaring cold, to be honest. 23 is it's not face-hurting territory. It's not face-hurting territory. But yeah, these are 20-degree angle brackets, which is a weird angle, but it's what we sort of calculated from the 3D scan of the master cylinder pedal box. I mean, it's got the pedal box in there. I took all the hydraulics out of it. Probably could have kept them, to be honest, if I put like my own little master cylinder reservoir on the thing. Now that it's all parked in one big like setup, I probably could have put actual master cylinders in this thing and it would have that hydraulic squish. Maybe that's for another day. The clutch master cylinder is a piece of plastic. I don't know what happened to it. It's somewhere around here, but I think we've modified. I'd probably have to buy a new pedal box, to be honest, and that's probably going to be like 80 bucks or something, depending on what auction I find for it. The one I have, I got for like 60, I think. And then Flashland Gonad went on UK eBay and was able to get one for 20 bucks. It was like, no, it was like 5. It was like £5. Is using euros or pounds? 5 quid? I don't know what to call their money. They can figure it out. But it was five of his things went into the pedals that he uses. It's amazing. The ones I have like started at $60. You know, everybody wants to get a cut these days. But we modified it quite a bit, so I don't know if we could use it for anything else. I don't know if I could put the cylinders back in. It would be really cool to have like a load cell that was on a different piston, and so you would actually have like a hydraulic line that would go to 2 pistons, one for clutch, one for brake, and it would push in the like a load cell to tell you how much pressure was on there. That'd be kind of neat. I don't know what hydraulics I have access to though. Also, dealing with brake fluid is not fun, so you know what? I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. We'll hit negative 20F sometime in February. I don't know if we go there. I think we got close. I think we got to like negative 10, I think. Pennsylvania is sort of on the latitude with Spain, I believe. And we see a lot of freeze and cool cycles, but we don't see huge extremes. Yeah, it does look like the stocks do not overshoot the wheel on the modern ones. Did that just pause because it's in the background? It probably did. Oh, no, it's just changing tracks. Oh, an instrumental of Midnight. This is a different song than what I thought it was. Oh, this is DJ Shadow. Usually in these shots, you can see this. Yeah, see, there's the steering wheel. That's, oh, that's actually the turn signal down there? What's it doing down there? Ew, right-hand drive, gross. We don't carry swords anymore. We don't need to be on this side of the car. Ridiculous. Yes, red circles in every image. Good. Good. Yeah, it looks like the stalks are like right behind the wheel. They don't go beyond. Right behind the wheel where you can get them with your fingies. Your little stubbly fingers can get to them back there. And then the stalks that I have are from the E46, so there's not a ton of controls on them, which I think is fine because we've got about 75,000 other buttons on this thing. There are just buttons everywhere, so I don't feel the need to have more little things for my pokey bits to hit on these things. Just a nice simple turn signal would be nice, because then when I'm sitting in the car, when I'm sitting in the sim setup, my winter car has turn signal controls, so I'll be able to just boop as I'm just naturally driving, you know, just natural driving habits, and it'll be like, wow, he's so in control. I'm like, no, this is just what it takes to drive a car. Like, I want it to be that intuitive. You could keyboard and mouse the game and still use turn signals. It would be very weird and counterintuitive. I find it funny that I put all this effort into building the car up and, yeah, taking advantage of that natural instinct. Then I'm going to get in my car and feel like it's weird. What's up, Wayne Johnson? I'm setting up to put some beamises on this thing. Some beamises on the car setup. And I got the beamises sitting right here. The giant beamises. This stuff is a lot. I don't know. It's a lot. It seems like it's overkill, but then you actually look at it and realize that the forces you're dealing with are like somebody doing a squat or doing leg press. Like I used to leg press a lot of weight, and so this seems a little bit more appropriate for something like that. Because man, I weigh almost as much as an entire American. I'm 260 pounds of doughboy, and I got to lift that in the bathtub, and I gotta squat that from the toilet. Yeah, that my leg muscles are crazy. They're living in it. They're living in a gym fantasy. Try to get this to lean right there, and then I'm gonna poke it with my foot, and it'll fall over and hit the other beam and make a huge clattering noise. That used to be leaning on the desk, but no, now it's all the way over there. What if there's a tutorial for how I should be doing all of this crap? There really isn't. There really isn't, and it shows. If I were doing just a normal, a normal sim setup, I sigh thinking about how simple that would be to put the pedals down below, to have just a big square thing holding up the wheel, or to even get one of the ones that's just some tubes that are bent into like a little compact setup, and you just kind of put a monitor in front of that. Yeah, that would be nice. Nope, we don't have that. I have to do things weird. Weird and kind of awesome, though. To be honest, I like it this way better anyway. It's a lot of project. Instrumental of the Hours. What's the Dell song? Do we already go over that? I'm just going through old instrumental music right now. This was only posted 3 years ago, though. That's interesting. But it's on Handsome Boy Modeling School. Oh, no, wait, that's the topic? Whose video is it then? I think it is Handsome Boy Modeling School. No, it's some other channel. They just made it into their topic. Huh. White people. I wonder, is there anything over here that could actually set the, I think it's mainly the clock spring that has like a little plastic thing that hits the switch on this thing to reset the steering. Yeah, because there's nothing that turns up here. And this is where the wheel starts. So if this were mounted just like right there, I guess that's the best place for it. I'll have to come up with something though, because I don't know how much this retracts. I also don't know if this is the side that it should be on, if this piece is above or below, like flip it 180 degrees. We'll take a look at that today. See, and then you would, oops, no. There it goes. Turn signals which side? Yeah, that's this side, okay. So if I'm turning this way, the little thing shoots forward. I turn past it, it'll just make a clicking noise. If I go the other way, pop, it pops it out. And then it retracts when it pops out, so it misses it again. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So I think directly behind this thing is where this does mount. I'll just need to get that distance right. And then of course the turn signal barely goes beyond the wheel itself. You can see there, it's like just about. But I think that is a natural place for it. Kind of cool. It'll be nice to actually have turn signals in a game. Well, a game that supports them. This thing, I have no idea if I'm going to do anything with that. The shifter that we have that we 3D printed is good, so I don't really feel the need to have it unless I want to have some other type of control. It could be kind of cool for switching modes of stuff. For now, it'll just be our CAN bus tester. But it's like, I don't understand in this system why there's one click and then another one. What is that supposed to do? Boop, boop. Why are there two? Does what? But there's only reverse, neutral, and drive, right? And then park is this button up here. So it's like reverse, more reverse, neutral, more neutral. What does it do? How to shift BMW F10. So fast. Why is autoplay on? Why does it keep turning autoplay on? All right, quit fingering it and show me how do you work this thing? Okay, okay, this is getting sexual. Please stop. Yeah, I won't do it because you're in park. So you press the side button, push it up, and that shifts. Okay, you're doing it once, but there's two clicking. Oh, so you got to push the thing in order to get it into reverse. And that just does... Why are there two positions then? Is it just like a warning? What's the second position? Why are you wearing ripped jeans? What year is it? What year is this? 3 years ago, were ripped jeans appropriate then? I don't think they were in fashion. Okay, so now you're pressing the button and shifting. Okay. Park, of course, puts you in park. Clunk. Why are there two positions? Nobody's commenting on the video. It's very useful for me. I'm glad that they put this up for 3,000 views. If you'd like to know how to manage the automatic gear in BMW Series 5, thanks to the automatic gearbox, you can drive fluently and enjoy the trip without the need to constantly press the clutch and change the gear. Well, but that's fun. But that's the fun part. Follow the video. It would be nice if it was written down why certain things are the way they were. Because the two positions have two distinct CAN bus messages. They have different CAN bus messages for this and this. But he wasn't doing that. He was doing just this and this. He just went, yeah, change gear up. And then you got to press this in order to get into park, or reverse rather, from neutral, which, okay, that makes sense. And you can press it if you want and shift down. But he was only doing this, whereas this one did. There's only two places to go. Why are there two positions on this thing? Maybe it's 1, 2? I don't know. I don't know. Like this has a message. This has a different message. Weird. It's like the ultimate two-stage trigger. Open the bomb bay doors, Hal. Pod bay doors. Weird. Weird. All right, should we get started? I don't really know precisely what I'm doing today, just because this whole project is completely up in the air. We have a lot of hacking to do. We have a lot of digital hacking that we can do on these things, and getting microcontrollers to speak to microcontrollers so that they can speak to microcontrollers that speak to microcontrollers. That's essentially what all of this stuff is. I'm hoping that we can put everything on the CAN bus. Everybody speaks the same CAN bus. It's just a room full of shouting things, and we can pick and place all the messages that we need with a message interpreter box in the middle. And that box in the middle, if it uses node red, hopefully we can just connect the dots and it'll make all the signals I need in order to make this SIM setup into a bunch of computer peripherals. That's for another day. First, well, sort of in parallel, I need to actually have a place to mount all of this stuff. And so I went out of my way and I bought hundreds of dollars worth of this thick 40 millimeter by 40 by 80 millimeter beam-is. I was trying to find these during the holiday season, which is like the worst time to order something like this. I don't know why I did it. Mainly it was because my brother dropped off an actual BMW car seat out of one of the more modern, the BMW F10, which has decent leather. It's sort of very utilitarian. It's not super comfortable. It's not an M. It's not the luxury interior. Most of the other sim people, they've been getting these BMW F10 seats, but they'll get like the luxury one, which has like vibrators and shit in it. I don't have that one. We have the utilitarian one, and I'm perfectly 100% super happy about that. I love it. I love the fact that I've got the real car seat because I have a real car wheel and I have real pedals. So they had a ton at my local scrapyard recently. I tried to buy it from them, but they won't sell back out of the yard. Why not? What's the whole point of the scrapyard? I guess they're gonna sell for aluminum prices or melt them down, huh? That's annoying though, because man, this stuff is useful. This stuff is useful. Hey, what's up, Copper? How you doing? This stuff is very useful. I was thinking earlier of replying to Copper's, replying to my post in the Discord, and I just realized that no matter what, I cannot predict what Copper is going to reply with. There's just no way. I just can't. I can't predict it. It's in a million years I would not have guessed. Anyway, point is, I've got all these giant beamises, and we need to put this together in some kind of semblance of a sim setup that's going to hold all of my real car parts up and not use a ton of beams, or, you know, I want it to be a comfortable place to sit. I don't want it to all get in its own way. My thought was that I'm actually going to do the slanted beams that everybody does on these sim setups. These sim setups, you know, tends to be, need a snack cup for Willow treats. See, never in a million years. Sim setup, beam, images. Yeah, so some of these have the rails up at a right angle, and then they're putting the steering wheel here, and then the steering wheel mount will put it at an angle. Yeah, I guess they're marking out the angles here, because this is generally what you're looking for. It's like, you know, the downward angles on that. But again, I've got real car parts, so my real car parts are suspended differently from all of this stuff. And then if you do this beam straight up, that means that to get in here, you have to kind of shuffle yourself in. It's not as easy to get into as like a car where you open the door and there's like, you know, like that area is free for your feet to swing in. I kind of want to like do that. I want to give just a little bit. Given you're building a BMW, you won't need that indicator stock. Yes, I will. I want to use all those because they're fun. It's not the swipe keyboard. Okay, that was a message from 10,000 years ago. Here, every streamer is doing this this week. Every streamer's doing this. We're showing off our Notepad++, our notepads. Here's my notepads. Here you go. What's this one? Notes on updates. Download the latest IDE. Close that before I get in trouble. Twitch event sub service. What the hell was this? Oh, when I was looking into how the code works, I was looking into how the node event sub works. Yeah, here it is, all of my salacious links. Oh my God. Just cut and paste those into a browser. And you're good to go. What the hell is this one? It's like a README for something. Oh, MIDI to CV. Okay, all right, we don't need any of this. This one I don't need anymore either. That was for putting the notes into... Showing off Notepad++ to show you're not one of the few suckers at Microsoft looking to use Notepad with Copilot. Well, moreover, it's a streamer had like some salacious shit in his Notepad that he accidentally showed on stream. I'm a big proponent of having a separate machine. Really, like, okay, we're all computer nerds, right? It's okay. It's safe to say here we can all be computer nerds here, especially on my channel. It's not that hard to take an old machine and prop it up as a streaming machine, because running OBS and outputting stuff from that is not all that computationally crazy. Like if you have an ancient, you could have a 970 graphics card in there and it'll use it a little bit, and you know, you can have an old processor in there and it'll be just fine for streaming. You can have a separate machine with its own desktop that does all that stuff. Or if you are a professional streamer, one of these people that makes a lot of money off of streaming, maybe you should just not have your personal computer be your streaming computer, right? Maybe do all the salacious stuff on a different computer. You could even have a second gaming computer. Can you believe it? The dumbness of people around here. The stuff they had was very industrial for the rail that was in a scrapyard. I was making plans to redo my CNC router frame from it. I was sad I couldn't buy it for them even at 3 times scrap price. Yeah, that there's like dings and dents from like 80/20 and stuff like that that I should probably be more on top of. Because like I don't care if there's a scratch on the beam. I mean, McMaster Car sent me these in like 3 days, but there are blemishes all over these things, right? It's not that big of a deal for me. And then some of the companies that sell this stuff have like blemished ones. If you're overseas, if you're not in America, definitely check out JLC's industrial stuff, JLCW or something, I think it's called. It's JLC PCB's industrial supply, and you can get the beamises from them for like pennies on the dollar. Shipping is what kills you, but at $50 to $80 shipping, it's still way super cheap. It just takes a long time to get here, so. Do they not want to make money? For scrapyard, I mean, yeah, I don't know. That should be, like a scrapyard should be all over that. I don't know if maybe there's like a liability thing. Probably not though, because they're a scrapyard. What do they care about liability? That's a shame. Anyway, yeah, so the sim rig is just a bunch of this stuff making a basic frame. I bought extra beams in this size. The typical like sim setups are using like 30 series, which is 30 millimeters, not 40 millimeters. So it'd be a little thinner, probably a little bit more appropriate, but this is what was widely available. Like all of the 40/40 stuff, it's less common than 20/20 and the 1-inch standard ones. A little less common than those, but there's a lot of 40/40 stuff out of there. I mean, we had to make some of our own brackets, but other than that, I've got a ton of like stock 40/40 stuff. Like this is a pretty interesting angle right here, and I put 2 of these on this, and then I've got like a nice little chamfered edge for something, right? If there was liability, they would stop accepting catalytic converters. That is very true. Let's put these on the sim setup and see how much I can tilt them. What I've done is sanded off the little pins that are on these generic angle pieces. These angle pieces have an oval opening so that they can sort of do weird stuff. They're really good for setups like this, where if I want to have a beam at an angle, the fact that these are ovular, is that it? Is that a word? This should go a little lower. It needs to be just a little tiny bit. Meep, 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 meep. There we go. I got to remember to take my Ozempic today. Okay. Anyway. These are the 2 that I want to be jumping in. There I am. Thumb of a man. These have oval holes, and so they're able to do the weird things like have the beam be at an angle. We're going to try that out. We're going to try to put that together right now, and I'll just see how it looks and how I feel about it. I'm going to approximately try to get to where the wheel is right now, because where the wheel is right now, without the angle, it doesn't have the angle that I want it to have. We'll put a power supply on it in a minute and be able to adjust it around, but without it at an angle, this is approximately where I want the wheel to sit. Problem is I'm a giant fat guy, so this is going to be weird. Looking to get some more RAM for my PC. What the fuck? Last time I got some, it was 180 pounds. Now it's 970. Yeah, we got to ride this one out, man. Now is not the time. Now is not the time for RAM. Now is the time to thank your lucky stars you're not buying RAM. Because I was, right before this crap happened, right before all the OpenAI bullshit, I was talking about how I wanted to double the RAM in this computer and maybe buy some new stuff. And I was contacted by a viewer, Dire Desire, saying that they could send some. And they did, and almost at precisely that minute that they sent me that RAM, the prices skyrocketed. It was like immediate, like when it arrived, it was like, holy shit, this is like thousands of dollars worth of RAM. I'm not going to do anything like sell it. I don't think that would be ethical. I'm not going to do it. But I'm sitting on a fortune in RAM, just in case the RAM in this current streaming computer goes bad. Let's retract the wheel, because I've got it all the way out right now. I need it to be in kind of a neutral position. It needs to be like somewhere around here. Yeah, it's a bubble. It's a bubble. It's a bubble. There's no other way to look at it. $900 for RAM is absolutely fucking crazy. Don't spend the money. I need more extension on these. Hold on. I need longer leads. My leads got leads. Let's see. I had some lead extensions. Yeah, here they are. Here they are. I know you. I know what you are. There we go. Lead extensions. I keep these together because I always use them together. These are just banana plugs with, where are you? Banana plugs with banana plugs on them. And the banana plugs plug into the banana plugs. All right, so let's go banana, banana, banana. Banana, banana. Bow. Okay, those two in there. And we banana to the bananas. This is bananas. Actually, the way you can do it is like this from the side. Although there's a lot of stuff to contact and short out on that. Turn on 12 volts. And then find the wires. I think it's these two big guys right here. These two big boys. Now this has memory too. This one actually has the Hall effect sensors. That's extending. Wait, how much more does it extend? Oh. Whoa. Oh, okay. That seems like pretty far. Wait a minute. Huh. Okay, let's come back. Retract. Go. So that wasn't a neutral position. Wait, what is this stuff then? What is this slidey bit? This looks like it slides back and forth. What'd it do? Is it like another adjustment? Huh. So like there's, here, look at this. There's this thing up here. Jeez, come on. Try to work with me. I gotta tighten up the cameras while I move them all over the place. All right, so there's a bracket and two fasteners and all of this space to slide. It's like there's another adjustment on this wheel that I don't know about. So what would possibly do that? Is that something that I can adjust, or is that just fixed? It looks kind of like it's fixed because it's got like a bar here. Maybe that's for the, oh, is that for an accident? Whoa, that might be for an yeah, I think that's for an accident. There's a big wire you can see come in here and then over, and I guess that wire is holding this thing in that slide. So I guess if you get into a big accident, this whole thing can collapse. That may be what it's for. That is wild. It also means that this whole assembly could be shorter. It could be shorter. I could shorten it up, although this would then bend. It seems like this would be an adjustment, but because of the big wire that's like embedded in this thing, I guess it doesn't actually adjust. Maybe the non-electric version of the steering column allows you to adjust there. That's what's making this so, this is like needlessly huge. For my purposes anyway. For my purposes, I don't need it to be this long. Unbelievable. That's really weird. Well, learn something every day, I suppose. Yeah, we've got like all of this stuff I have to accommodate for now. I thought this would retract. I thought this section would go in a little more. Makes me wonder if I should put it into the crash position. If that's what it really is. Like that's collar there. Yeah, it definitely isn't meant to adjust in this configuration because that would slide into there. Interesting. Oh, and it would actually pop out of its track over here too. So that's not what's meant to happen. Crazy. That is really weird. Really, really weird. I guess it is just for crashing. Just to absorb the impact. Well, okay, so collapsing specifically like this, I didn't really expect. because yeah, they're made to collapse, but this thing already has its collapsible structure further down in the steering. That's what this stuff is. That's what the little bulges are in the steering shaft. This is a place where it would collapse and then it would pivot on this so that it doesn't spear you. All of this stuff seems, I mean, yeah, it makes sense, but it's like, I didn't think it would be this high in the column. We would have more crash structure. That's got to be a pain in the butt to repair if you get into an accident. You know, when your super duper Mercedes slides into a tree. That means that this entire piece is going to have to live here. It's going to have to be like a bit further back than this. Holy crap. This is going to get, I don't know, electrically adjustable steering is starting to look a little bit less like it's going to be a thing. Try to get like up here into, oh, what the fuck was that? Something just buzzed by my head. Hopefully it was not another stink bug. I did open the window a little bit, which may have led to there being stink bugs. Because I guess they get into that window, but I'm scared that it's the chair itself, because that's where I found the last one. Something big just buzzed by my head, and I don't know what it was, and I don't know where it is. It better not be in my freaking collar. Let's look at my face. Oh boy. Whenever I find these, you have to like immediately spear them, or they get stinky. Repairing is just replace the whole unit. Yeah, it is. Yeah, nowadays it is. You're right. You're right. All right, hold on. I got a bug in here, and it's 99%. It's going to be a stink bug, and I got to figure out where it is. I think they do kind of gravitate towards lights. So I'm going to look like up on these hanging lights. I'm just going to observe for a little bit to look for any motion, anything that looks like a stink bug, because it literally just buzzed my freaking ear and scared the ever-loving crap out of myself. I almost pooped myself because of a bug. Oh, here, get the salacious notepad out of here. Where are you, bug? You stink bugs do not ever go very far. And you're usually way out in the open. It's kind of hard to see. Kind of hard to see any kind of an interloper on this background, this very busy background. I was standing right here when it happened. And when it was like a low buzz because they're big bugs. One time I tried to feed a stink bug to my fish tank, and they would not eat it because it's a stink bug. I should have realized this ahead of time, that fish aren't too excited to eat something that smells like chemicals and gives off chemicals. I do not know where it is. I hope it dies soon. It's not like this window like inundated with them. No, it's not really. I live in fear that the chair is what's actually being infested with these things. It's going to show up in the weirdest spot, and I'm going to get stunk by it, and then I'm going to stink like stank. I'm going to be all stanky over here. Let's look at the back of the chair. Make sure it's not back here. Yeah, I think I found some eggs in the chair. So I'm afraid that this thing is like breeding stink bug. But I looked everywhere to see if I could see any new bugs in the seat. And I didn't see any new bugs in the seat, but then I just got buzzed, which is concerning. I'm just moving some stuff here. I've been rolling around on the floor lately, working on this setup, so I'm actually really disappointed in the steering column because it's so huge. What's funny is that when this collapses, the drive for that motor right there, for that adjustment, is going to bend but still be useful. It'll still work, which is really weird to me. But now, going under the assumption that, you know, this is as far back as this thing, this is actually a neutral position for this. It's in kind of a neutral position right now. So that means that this should be at my natural position, which means that it's got to come way back here, which means that I don't know where the steering servo is going to go. This changes everything. This is not a very compact design. Maybe we can take elements from this thing off and shorten it. You know, crash it essentially. I'm gonna sit down and see where a natural steering position is. Whew. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's definitely gotta move. That's way too close. Nope, back here a little bit. Yeah. So this is like fat guy in a little car and he's crying. Okay, so move this. Natural steering is way back here. Oh no, that's not gonna work at all. It needs to be like here. Actually, this needs to move up a little bit. Let's see if we can angle this. Well, I thought it would be funny if it actually was adjustable, but it turns out the Mercedes-Benz is the largest car in the world. It's a mile long. I can't read chat from back here. I'll catch up on you guys in a sec. I'll use... Hey, you guys. All right. Oh, wrong direction. Other way. Gotta go the other way. This would be all the way down. Damn it. You guys can't see the sparks. That's a shame. Hello? Motor needs a little help, I guess. Maybe it was in the right direction before. It gets stuck at the extremes. Whoa! Okay, there we go. So that moves it that way. So does this actually flip 180 degrees? Because then, how does that adjust? It goes, yeah. Went like this, then this would move the wheel how? Because it needs to be like this at a little bit of an angle, and this is still a little bit tall for me. Okay, let me get something to prop this up with. Big piece of metal. Hey, I didn't even have to move. You guys cannot see what I'm trying to do here. Just put this, okay, all right, there we go. Camera work is hard. Everything is mirrored. I don't know where I'm pointing it. All right, wheel at a natural spot would be like this, but a little bit shorter than where it is right now. And then if I adjust it using all the stuff, there we go. Then you can kind of see what I'm doing. much of that did you hear? Did I unplug myself immediately on sitting down? So I'm looking at what direction this thing faces, and I'm wondering if I can intentionally crash the column in order to make it more compact. Yeah, how long was that? Was that the whole time I was sitting down? Probably was. Probably was the whole time I was sitting down. Those are going to short out. Those leads just like hanging like that, just ready to short out on one another. 40 seconds or so. Okay, so I went over a little bit of stuff. I'm wondering if we can look up like a parts diagram and get a number on that thing and see whether or not it mounts right side up or upside down. The length of this entire steering setup is a problem. That's a problem. It's kind of a big problem, actually. Let's just see if we can find a diagram for this thing. So I guess we're doing electric steering column. None of them are diagrams. They're all just the thing. That one looks a lot more compact. This was, I think I actually had this one at one point. It's got this weird joint in it that's like this collapsing joint. It's very strange. Here we go. That is what we have. Stay tuned. So that is facing upwards, and then there's just like a lot of stuff on it. That is a lot. That's such a long distance for me to cover. But this, I mean, we can't really see based on this diagram because there's nothing else attached. It seems like it's going to be at a pretty extreme angle. Is this electric power steering? Yeah. Not too concerned with that. I would just like to see the, I want to see that steering column. No, don't care about this stuff. What angle is the steering at? I can't really see it in there. Well, it answers one question, is that the big piece is up top. Big piece up top. What? Having a yoke on a car is just really bad. Unless it's like a self-driving car. Having a yoke is... They put it on all of the concept cars and it never makes it into a real car because as soon as you put it into somebody's hands, they go, this is dumb. This idea constantly seems right on paper, but as soon as you put it into application, everybody goes, wow, this sucks. I don't want to go hand over hand in order to, you know, parallel park. It does look like this is a little bit less... No, it's probably about the same dimensions, to be honest. The yoke only works with steer-by-wire. As soon as you have to go hand over hand, it fails. Yeah, it fails, like, horribly. It's such a bad idea. Do Mercedes just have giant steering columns? It just kind of seems like they do. Kind of seems like they just have giant steering columns. This one even looks a little bit more compact than the other one. And that may have been the donor for the actual splined end. I just literally cut it out of a Mercedes steering column. It wasn't an electric one, though. It was a manually adjustable one. But it had all this stuff. It had this weird connection joint on it that is designed to kind of like fold in on itself. The strange automotive choices that companies make to do things like have adjustable steering. How in the hell am I going to mount this crap to my setup? It's cursed. So yeah, the big piece goes up top. Look at this one. This is exactly what I would need. 2013 Benz E350. No, this is what I have actually. Wait a minute. But it doesn't have the expansion joint. This looks so much more compact. Look at how much more compact this is. Maybe this is exactly what I have. Yeah, this is what I have. This is something that we're going to have to like 3D print, the little piece that goes over the column itself. So if I ever get into an impact with this thing, I don't think I'll have a steering column going through my chest, But I'm never going to get into an accident with this thing. At least you know that you can go into your friend's car and you could go, ah! And then break their car permanently by pressing their steering wheel in against these spring clips that are holding it in the position. You got to put your whole body into it. You got to press on their steering wheel as hard as you can, and you will overcome this brass wire right here that pokes into this piece. And when you overcome that wire, this whole thing will collapse inwards and your friend's car will be permanently ruined. That's true. I could drop down into the sub basement suddenly, and then I would have a front end impact. It could all go down like that. You're right. You're right. Holy shit, this thing is going to have to be like back here. Ah, my wheel! Don't scratch yourself. Here, you sit on the nice leather. So the thought was that I would do 2 columns on this setup. 2 columns, right? Right now I have it set up with 1 column. I'm lazy. Also because I only have so many pieces that aren't super duper long. But if I have the 2 outside here and then 2 at the front here, I got to see where my hands are because you guys can barely see what's going on. Two uprights coming from this front beam piece, and then I can do a beam across those, and that's where the pedals can mount. The 20-degree angle is just about right for the BMW pedal box, and I've got 4 of the brackets. I made 2 more yesterday, which took an incredible amount of time. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Does it still work if it's collapsed? Well, so here, come take a closer look. Take a closer look with bother. Hello. Oh, read all of the salacious things on my computer screen. All right. All the nasty ass porn that I'm looking at. So this piece right here that holds, so this and this do like the extension, right? This has its own like carrier that will collapse into here and not interfere with anything, right? So if I did crash this right now and I push this all the way in, this will still adjust. The one that I'm concerned about is this one back here. My light is on the camera, so hold on, here we go. Oh, Will's barking at stuff. Willow Place. And the lights dim a little bit as I shock her. High voltage, what was it? Armature porn. Armature porn. Oh, look at those motors. They don't even know how to work the camera, but they're getting into it. Look at those motors. Oh, this is great armature porn. All right, anyway. So this can collapse right here. This motor will not be affected. If this gets closer, though, this will get affected, this one back here. And this is on a flexible piece because of the angle that it has to do, right? This thing moves it into different angles. If you get into a crash, I don't know if this will be able to flex and still operate properly. I don't think it will. But look at that. I mean, if I could collapse this in, it would be so much shorter and actually make a whole lot more sense for what I'm actually doing here. But this is going to have to go in like this, I guess. Just at a bit of an angle. I can't show it. It has to be like that, I think. Unbolt it from here. It looks like it does unbolt. Yeah, this is on its own mount. I find it crazy that this whole thing can slide inwards, though. I wonder how much force it takes to make it. Yeah, it would take a lot of force to crash this thing. Nope. I could maybe extract the brass wire, though, and we could find out. All right, here we go. In the diagram, it showed the mounting plate looked like it was to the right. The mounting plate is above. See that? It's above. Is the flexible thing moving the tilt angle of the wheel? I think the tilt angle affects it. This is doing, yeah, this is tilt angle, yeah. Here, where's my, Where's my power supply? I should hook this up with buttons. I could make the BMW shifter move this back and forth. Yeah, that's tilt angle. So it swings the giant piece back and forth to tilt the wheel up and down modestly. And then this one's the extension motor. So the extension motor would be fine. Tilt angle, weird stuff's gonna happen when I collapse it. I mean, let's just find out. Let's just find out. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Putting it back together might actually be kind of hard, though. That might actually be kind of difficult, but I guess I'll suffer through. Yeah, we'll take the back end of this stuff off. I don't want a wire to whip into my hand and like cut me open, so I gotta be careful here. What goes on down there? Yeah, it's just in a little thing. Just this little catch, spring catch. That's a Springo. How does that go? Oh, it goes towards me it goes this way first. It doesn't put up much of a fight, to be honest. Now, does that go all the way through? I think it goes all the way through. Yeah, because this is supposed to like bend to be out of the way, but let's see if we can just manually get it to do its thing. Do its thing. You guys see what I'm doing? Yeah. It's not very springy. Yeah, it's one piece that goes through. I guess that's supposed to like break or distort. That's weird. Get that above the things that are holding it back. Let's move after that. No, I probably have to loosen up. Well, hold on, I got 4 bolts there that are holding it to what? Are those, what? What the fuck? Hold on a sec. Yeah, there's like a big bracket, and then there's the 2 slides, and I don't know how tight these are. If that's meant to slide or... But then this bracket is something to overcome. There's like a bracket inside of this. Shear force of what? The 4 bolts here? Well, it's shear force to get over this this piece. So maybe I do undo the 4 bolts. Those are Torx. I gotta find a Torx wrench. Hold on. I got something. There's always something. Any Torx in here? Oh no, all my Torx are in my car stuff. Didn't have Torx bits ready. I know I have some in here though. Just have to find them. I think I've got a bike kit that I can use. Yeah, here we go. That's not Torx. Where are my Torx? No! This is a moderately sized Torx screwdriver. Too small. You think that rod gets sheared? I mean, there are a lot of forces at play in a crash. In a respectably sized crash, there's a lot of crazy forces at play. Shearing a brass rod, though, that's kind of nuts. All right, we got to get my generic screwdriver kit. That'll have a Torx bit in it. Bit in it. A bitty in it. In it, a bitty. Oh, I'm British now. Let's see. Hold on. No. Come on. Where is my socket? Wait, where did my wrench go? Oh, there. Right there. Okay, that's one part of the puzzle. The next part of the puzzle is getting a Torx bit onto that thing. I guess... Didn't I have something that does that? Well, maybe just actually, this thing is probably going to be the best. Just because I'm so discombobulated with my tools right now. And then I need the big generic screwdriver kit. Let's beam out of the way. You guys are getting the annotation of me sifting through all my stuff to try to find what I'm looking for. Big screwdriver and security Torx. That's for that. I need a slightly smaller one for the other one. I guess I could just do... No, none of those fit into the right thing. Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at all the stuff that I have down here. Okay. We'll just use this. This will be enough. If it fits into this stuff. Yeah, it does. So I think I have to undo these 4 because this cart is like a thing that kind of holds everything together. This is not a good tool to use, actually. We'll learn soon. I guess so. Nope, this is not the good way to do it. Hold on, there's a better way. There's a better way. Maybe I'll just use the thing that Mahalo sent in. Should be pretty good at this. Which is just this little screwdriver-y, electric screwdriver-y thing that I had on my wish list. That, and then I need this, because that will offset it from here. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's so much better. As much as I hate having power tools replace everything, it is kind of nice to be able to do that. So there's like a metal cart that everything is sitting in. You guys can see this is the cart, and I think that's what these 4 bolts are. And then this goes to the slide. But I think that this exists in order to provide like a kickover to get things moving. So I want to loosen it. That's those 4. This thing shouldn't be moving yet, I don't think. Yeah, nothing wants to move yet. Nothing wants to move. Nobody wants to work. Actually, those 4 bolts might have gone into the same thing. This is very confusing. I'm very confused about what this layout is. Let's see if we can get down another layer if I undo that. Okay, this one. This one's not going to want to... This thing is for like small screws and just getting them undone. It's not for this kind of stuff. If I hit it with a hammer, I could force the issue, yes, but I don't want to break it. I would very much like for this to be reversible, whatever I'm doing right now. I think that's like a basic requirement. It needs to be reversible. Just how much one-way and redundant things are there in this? They made an entire part to make this slide work. Crazy. So is that going to drop? Yep, it's going to drop everything. Well, at least now I get to take a look inside. It is. It's just a solid rod that goes across. So do they expect that to shear off? And then this thing, yeah, this doesn't want to move at all. And the other piece of it, hold on. So like this piece, oh, it's got to break a piece right there. And that's what this plastic piece is. So there's a little plastic nub that goes in there. And then these 4 bolts hold this thing to the other part. Now, does this just collapse now? Oh, yeah, it does. But it's collapsing against this. So I was able to push it down a little bit, and you saw this is now bent. So when this thing collapses in, does it ruin that part? Yeah, jeez. Looks like it does. Looks like this probably breaks off. So that's no bueno, unless I can shorten that or move this somewhere. Because if I took this off, I could collapse this down. It would take up way less space. Yeah, I'm going to have to move the tilt. And then I would have to mount it somewhere else, it seems. Oh boy, this is a lot, huh? This is a lot. Jeez, ow. Okay, great. Just great. Whatever they did to add this little plastic pin, they did not deburr around the pin, and I just fucked up my thumb just a little bit, scraping it on the aluminum. Love it. Love the smell of blood. Hold on, I'm gonna wipe that off and make sure it's clean. So if I moved the tilt adjustment and modified this thing, I could make it much shorter, which would be a little bit less of a burden on the rest of the system. I can also, well, I don't want to get rid of the big plate. The big plate, I mean, I could move the big plate and maybe leave it up to my own tilt over here, but let's move tilt and see if I can collapse this thing so we don't totally break the tilt motor. Let me just stop bleeding first. Allow me this one little thing, chat. You know what it does? That's what it does. When you crash, this thing collapses and then drops down. So I think it allows you to get out of the car better, maybe. It's like a chain gun. Yeah, there we go. All right. Smaller one. I'm gonna get blood on all my tools like this. The question would be how I relocate all the stuff. I can always put this back together still. This one down there. Nope, it's only the two. No, it is three. It's three bolts holding this thing in. I don't know if I can get the electric thing all the way in there. Ah, what a pain in the butt. I thought cars were a little bit more compact, but they're not. Everything's a crash structure. Whoa. Oh yeah, it's leaning on this motor right now. What the? I guess this whole thing can tilt now. the whole assembly is like, look at that whole piece can tilt. All right, so now what I can do is collapse this mofo. God, it's like fire at them. So this is a crashed Mercedes-Benz. But it is also a slightly more compact Mercedes-Benz. And then over here, if I knock that pin out, I could move this whole cart backwards, but then it won't mount properly. Plus, this is a giant piece of aluminum that I don't really know if I want to have in this whole system. So I think what I can do, because yeah, it still steers just fine, and it's much smaller and it's much lighter. I think what I'm going to do is just leave this to its own thing. I'm going to make a hinge for it now. I've got to reinvent this so it's not as fucking beastly. I guess we could just use this piece. Yeah, this is great. This is great, actually. All I'm going to have to do is figure out a place to put this motor or find like a different shaft for it, which I don't know where I'd be able to find a different shaft. But I mean, we've got room to put stuff back here. I mean, all I need to do is lock this thing to the base, and that'll be that. That's all it really needs. This flexible shaft offers us a lot of flexibility. UPS is here. My goodies from Pololu. Nice. Pololu's awesome. I would accept a sponsor from them in a second. One singular second, and I would accept an offer for a sponsorship from them. because they're good. Like, they're really good. All right, without my normal tools on me, I have to figure out how I'm going to undo this thing without ruining everything, which is a difficult task. How's it going, Line Squares? You know, technically correct, maybe the best kind of correct, but I don't like this. I don't like this. But sometimes okay, I gotta hold the other end down and it's gonna totally go crazy on me. This thing's gonna go psycho. All right, hold on. I've got wrenches. I've got the other kind of, I got open-ended wrenches. It's just I don't have Torx easily grabbable. I love these things. I spent a little bit of money on them. They're great. They just drop into everything, man. Okay, smaller. The one thing my summer and my winter car doesn't have is the ability to intuit what the size of a bolt is. So if I twist this, they're both going to twist, so I need to use the impact now. Bada bing. So I can kind of try to figure out, or machine, or maybe I can cut the actual, I could cut this thing and incorporate that in. But now we've collapsed the steering shaft. We have gotten into a car accident. And this thing is much more compact for it. So if you're trying to like fit your Mercedes in somewhere, you can actually just crash it and it'll fit in a little better. Okay, this thing, and then this piece that bit me, that stupid hole right there bit me and actually drew blood. But yeah, it seems like you've got to, first of all, shear off the, what I assume is brass. It's crazy what the kinds of forces that, I guess you've got like a whole human body that's hitting up against the wheel, right? And so that has inertia to it as well. So you're getting like basically a whole sack of beans thrown at you. And so it seems as though you either need to shear or severely bend this in order to get it out of here. So that's just going to shear it. That's going to shear it. I thought maybe it would want to like bend off, but no, this has to break. And then you break this plastic pin right here. And then this cart slides backwards. And then your entire steering column is able to hinge out. So basically you'd hit this thing and then the steering wheel would drop down. Let's look at a post-crash Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, because I can drill and tap holes to make this pattern on like a beam. And then back here, I could maybe cut this off, cut it off like here, and then just use this. Or I can come up with something that's very similar and lighter, because we don't have to deal with, you know, car crash level forces here. We do have the tilt thing and everything, but we're not dealing with a car crash. So I don't need this giant heavy aluminum plate. Sorry, aluminium. I'd rather have a titanium plate. Yes, all of my titanium. I'm going crazy. I'm losing my mind, chat. Losing my mind. I'm going to keep this stuff because I think this is going to be the basis for which I make the pivot, because it's got two little plastic inserts. And yeah, this isn't the most repeatable thing. This will wear away eventually, but it doesn't need to move that much. It's just a steering wheel adjustment. Man, we're learning so much. This is cool. This is cool. I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I kind of went out of what I was going to do on this project and actually took stuff apart a little bit more to figure out what makes it tick. We only have to relocate one motor to make it work, which is pretty cool. It's cool in my book. All right, I gotta put my toys away. Otherwise, I'm never gonna be able to take anything apart ever again. So here, you guys come over here. Flask, if you can still hear us, you better share what kind of cool stuff you got. Either in the Discord or you can type in chat. I want to hear about stuff. I love hearing about chat's projects. I really do. I am like that. There it is. Okay. Militant. You got to be militant about these bits, like you're an aircraft mechanic, right? If one's missing, that's your job, is to find it. That's how this works. If you don't do that, then you end up having discombobulated tools, and you will never be able to find what you're looking for in life. You'll be unsatisfied with the trajectory of your life, like I am. Okay, there we go. Tools are back. Let's actually put this back on the pivot. Put it back on the pivot so I don't lose it. Well, actually, probably shouldn't. Well, okay, fine. I'll put it back for now. See if that's a good idea. Although I think the plastic inserts go in the other piece, so this will kind of hang loose. Yeah, it will. It's all right. That's all right. Yeah, good enough. All right. Cool. Good stuff. Got another bit here. Thankfully for the bigger band sets, you can buy individual replacement bits. That's true. The more popular, I guess, your screwdriver bits are. I was sent, people would send me their screwdriver bit kit just to have me use the same one that they do. It's something weird about the people who send stuff in. They like to send screwdriver bits. But the ones that they sent were like these weird proprietary bits. They weren't just the generic like 1/4 inch or 3.5 millimeter or whatever. They were some weird kind. That was strange. All right, so I got 2 mounts from this thing that will allow me to put this into this system without it being such a burden, which is actually really nice. Now, let me just collect all my bolts and bits and stuff so we can get a good impression of what we're doing here. Where are my bolts going? All these little bolts. This thing was 20 bucks, by the way. I only spent 20 bucks on this, so kind of cool that we can modify the hell out of it. And honestly, like if I wanted to make something that had like more adjustment on it, these are good motors. The ones, I got these for like 20 bucks, right? They've got a Hall effect sensor on them and then 2 leads. And so if you hook up that Hall effect sensor, you can count the number of ticks in whatever direction it goes, and you can have memory adjustable. I've broken a handful of Torx bits. Yeah, that's why I was concerned about using this thing, because this thing, if you let it click for too long, it's a beast. You know, like that ball is going to shear off at some point. If I'm not paying attention, I have to be paying attention to this tool at all times, because this thing will break my expensive bit kits. Not that Craftsman doesn't have a, lifetime guarantee, but I don't want to push the issue because it's a bunch of bullshit that I got to go through. So the mount for this will be either 2 big guys in the middle, which is kind of appealing. 2 big guys in the middle, 4 guys on the perimeter, and then a pivot back here. I just have to have something that'll meet that pivot. I don't know if I'll machine something or just cut up this guy and just basically cut it here. And then I can have this pivot back here, but then I've got to mount something at this distance. So, but I mean, this isn't so bad. This ain't so bad. And now it's a lot shorter because we crashed. We had a horrible disconfiguring accident in our Mercedes, and now our steering column fell. It would fall out of that assembly, but in this case, we're going to mount it up here. And so if anybody gets into an accident in this fake car, they're going to get impaled by this. That is so weird. It's such a weird system. I'm so fascinated by that. And I'm also glad that this worked out perfectly too, because this will now, do just what I want it to. The only thing that we don't get out of this system is a hole from end to end. Oh, there actually is one. Wait a minute. I could maybe put the LIN bus wire through there. It's a tiny little hole though. There's a tiny hole that goes all the way through this thing. This thing. Yeah, it's possible that I could feed 3 wires through that. But then we'd have to somehow pick it up down here for this shaft too. Actually, for the extendo shaft, maybe it could just sit next to it. It doesn't extend that much, but there's like a lot of movement in it. But yeah, this goes way back. and now it's much more reasonable. It's just that the angle of the U-joint, of course it's not on camera, angle of the U-joint is going to be the next problem that I got to solve. Yeah. Okay. So, all right, let me put the wheel back on and we'll see what this one's like. That angle is going to be difficult because this is preventing, I can't make it the same angle as the brake thing. That would be very nice if I could. If I were able to move this forward a little bit, that would alleviate it. But then the next piece has to go here and then straight down. So the motor's going to have to float out in no man's land a little bit. And I'm not going to do like belts or anything. Chains and belts need tensioners. How did this get all the way up there? It's a complicated problem. I probably could have like put a loop through or something. Okay, so let's grab this. Man, Mercedes has a long steering column, doesn't it? Of course, my legs don't fit in here. Oh, okay. All right, so post-crash, that's getting there. So a little lower than this stool and a little further back than this, which is in dropping on the ground territory. So I can't quite get this all the way back there, which still puts this in a weird position. It still puts it really far back. Oops, hold on. Make sure that I'm not unplugging myself here, that you guys can actually hear me talk. Sitting on the mic cable. Oh God. Yeah. Ah, why are you stuck? Oh God, it's everywhere. Okay. I still don't know what buzzed by my ear, by the way. There was some kind of a bug. It might have been a stink bug. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in here. I'm looking at the lights right now to see if I can see anybody. I'm going to find that thing in the middle of the night and it's going to scare the shit out of me again. So like, Jesus. I didn't put the wheel bolt in, all right? This thing is just so long. It's so prohibitively long. Yeah, that'll have to get its own custom mount, but I could also just put it on like a rail, or I could do a plate for it. I'm not sure what I'll do yet. But if this is just a little lower than that and it adjusts vertically, that'll be perfect. So that maybe can come off of there. If I do two beams that are coming up and across here, I can have those be at the angle that the steering wheel needs to initially be at. And then it can end like here. And it'll meet up with the two that come up from the sides to triangulate everybody so that it's nice and strong. Because remember, I was punching the crap out of just by hitting the brakes. I'm going to have to be able to hit the brakes against the back of the seat and against me pulling on the steering wheel, which we will lock. This will lock into place nicely. I can't believe that you have to shear off that thing in order to get it to. And also, where's the steering wheel lock? How do we lock the steering wheel when we don't have the key in? Maybe that's what this plate is down here. There's a big plate down here, and maybe that's where there's like a pin that'll lock it. Oh, and there's bad casting too. I see a little place that was rubbed over here for like a little gap in the casting. If we get into an accident with this thing, we're done. All right, pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool. This thing is fully collapsed. Oh, now it is. If it wasn't before, now it is. Okay, cool. All right, so let me get myself out of here. And we can put some of the big beamises down. Ugh. I'll actually attach some of the big beams. This thing is not very stable. Wait. Am I going further? Oh no, that's as far as it, yeah. It's kind of crazy that they designed this thing to what is it, the extension motor. They designed it to actually collapse all the way in without interfering. Like it is all the way on this, whatever it is, this bearing surface, and it doesn't crash into anything else. It doesn't hit that at all. I guess they had to put it out of the way in order for it to function properly, but it's just interesting that they did that and didn't have like it break away or something. Is that a plastic pin? That might be a plastic pin in there. So maybe that's designed to break away too, in the event that it hits something that it's not supposed to. All right, get up from a sitting position on this thing. This is not SUV height. This thing is a little bit towards, it's somewhere between SUV and sedan height. Like with the SUV, I just kind of tilt my legs out and I can stand up like immediately. And in my car, I grab the roof rack and I stand up using that. But here I don't have anything to touch. I don't have anything to help me get up. I've fallen. Yeah, before this falls off. All right, let me come back over to chat. What you guys saying? Same thing you said before. Nobody has anything new to say. You really do have to shear this whole thing off in order to... That's just crazy. All right, big beams. Let's get some big beams up. I don't think I'm going to use the hammer drill, because that'll... Not hammer drill. What is it called again? What are you called again? Impact. I'm not going to use the impact thing, because that'll blow everything up. That mic cord is freaking me out. It's, hey, this is how I live my life, man. And right now, this mic cord goes into a lighting stand just to hold it up and to keep it away from everything. I'll drop it over here for now. And we can put on the beam. So I'm going to try to tilt these so that they've got a little bit of a, like a, maybe not 45 degree, but just a bit of an angle so that I can get into this thing without banging my legs. And I guess maybe we want to move this for now. Oh, that's right, that whole piece. The whole piece moves. It's wild that I had to crash the car in order to reduce its size. just gotta crash it, man, then it'll fit. Okay. All right. Trusty Torx bit, that's the right size. I put the hardware on the beam already when I set it up, which is kind of a problem now. We'll see which one is over and under. I don't know which angle piece I want to have where, and I'll mirror image it on the other side. We'll see whether it's strong enough. I got to really tighten these down so that they can be super strong. These are I bought like a big kit. It was 20 bucks. I bought a big kit of 8mm roll-in nuts. So these go in sideways and then they twist 90 degrees in the track. They can be very annoying to deal with though, because they have a little sprung ball on the other end of them, on the back side, where that little ball is supposed to keep it flat to the channel opening, but it sometimes really doesn't, especially with the ones that you put in sideways like this. So I'm going to try to get one beam down, and then I'll come over and look at you guys and see what you're saying and all that jazz. Okay, and then I guess this is going to be... Do I want to... Okay. I think I actually want the other way around, which is the other beam that's sitting over there. So let me put this one down here. We also have to figure out what I'm pushing against for the brakes. I haven't done that yet. I think maybe that might be something 3D printed inside of here, but again, I'm going to do 2 of these and then have a horizontal beam that holds the brake pedals up, so that'll be a little bit more adjustable. The adjustable steering will double the length of the whole rig. Yeah, it is kind of making it a little bit much, but it also means that I don't have a big motor sitting in directly behind the wheel, so I can get the monitor a little closer. Not that that's a deal breaker, but it's just a thing. I gotta watch it with this. There's like aluminum, sharp aluminum everywhere. I tried to deburr everything properly, but sometimes you just catch a sharp angle and cut yourself. It's bad. It's real bad out here. Big thing about these specific bits is that they've got all that momentum from the handle. The handle's like heavy, and that means that you get a good spin on it in order to tighten and loosen things. These go over there. This thing goes over here. Now it's going to be leaning down and pushing up on these two. I also had to buy flathead, like pan-headed M8 bolts, because on the corner pieces, these corner pieces here, the bolt heads are too close to each other. They can interfere with one another. That's one. The other one. Nope, nope, did it wrong. Did it wrong. Did it wrong, wrong track, wrong track, wrong track. We're going for the other one. I was like, wait a sec, this isn't working out. There, so that's gonna give me a little bit of an angle, and I can adjust that. I can adjust that. Of course, it's gonna be more towards me when I actually put it in, but right now I'm just trying to get the fasteners in. Yeah, if I could incorporate like a chain drive onto it, then maybe I could make it so that the, whatchamacallit, so the steering was more adjustable, or, you know, so it's more compact. Let's just experimentally go with this. I'll lock that in. I'll tighten it down and see how strong it is. See how much I trust it. It's all going to be triangulated on itself though when I close it up. And I'll have to change the length of this one too, because this will be much shorter to hold the wheel in position. Oh, that's not going anywhere. Especially once I get it to the right length. Ugh! Oh my god. Yeah, like that ain't moving. This is a better frame than most golf carts. It's gonna be an electric grocery getter someday. Yeah, when I put motorized casters under it. I'll just put some motorized casters under it, and then I can putt around in this thing. Yeah, these are, I mean, these are like way stronger than you would expect. Like when you get out to 1500 millimeters on this thing, or 1300, I think this is, they get kind of cheesy. Like the 2020 rail would not be able to take my whole weight, whereas this thing, I can just get up on it and jump up and down, and it's not moving at all. That can support my weight tenfold. Yeah, this is pretty good actually. Having just a little bit of an angle on these beams, and I can probably get more of an angle out of it, means that getting in and out, you got room for your feet to get in and out. That's the important part. But then I'm gonna probably have to cut these like down here, maybe a little above, maybe like there. And then the big cross beam means that I can put some other stuff on the rail. I can put like the headlight switch that I have and stuff like that. Got to get up to get down. That's the problem with working on a project like this, is you're rolling around on the floor and you're getting up and you're getting down and you're I need that like people moving whatever it is, the work cart, the one with like the big motorized actuator in it. I have a big motorized actuator. Maybe I should make one of those carts. The one that you can go from full lying down to full sitting, fully upright sitting. All right, this beam now. The other beamus. I don't have a cross beamus either. I have 3 more beams. 2 of them are flat, which these would be, the flat ones would be nicer for out here, but I need this surface of these because I need to be able to mount a shelf coming out of it. So either using a bracket or one of those pieces that hinges, I can put a weird angle on that. And if actually we have the piece that hinges, that means I could have a door, have a door-like thing that opens up and allows me to sit in this, or I just use these sort of malleable angle iron pieces, and those would let me have sort of a weird angle coming off of that beam. All right, come on, where's this thing? Gotta pop these in, tilt them. Boy, I really should have cleaned the rails for that seat, huh? I'm looking at them right now, and there's all kinds of dust and like French fries and stuff on them. You know, the stuff that falls into the center part of the car when you're getting fast food and whatnot. Mostly whatnot. I'm gonna do this one left-handed. Great. You guys probably can't see what I'm doing. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Oh, you can see what I'm doing. Da-da-da-da. Oh, you guys saw my notepad. Oh, no. Don't look at my notepad. Oh, my God. Ah, damn it. That just fell out of the rail. That was the last thing that I wanted it to do. Get in your home. Oh, wow. I can see the burr on the edge of this thing. Oh, no, never mind. There's no burr there. No burr there for bother. Okay, what do you want? You stupid... I over-loosened it. When you over-loosen these, they can fall out of their thing, and then it just drops. And then it's a pain in the butt to get back in, because if it's only just a little bit loose, the nut will get caught on everything when you're trying to seat it back into the rail. And it's very annoying. I'm probably going to have to get stuff to block the rails on the sides here, otherwise they're going to get gross. I'm going to get French fries and stuff in them. Damn it! That was my bolt. I needed that. Starting to take shape though. Now, what angle was that? That's like there. I'll have to figure out how to make that consistent later. You, over here. Ugh, my leg is in the way. I'm trying to get away from it, man. Whoa, that one's really loose. Or I'm not turning it. Yeah, I'm not turning it. I'm not turning it. This is why I had that gardening mat, because this stuff bangs up your knees. Oh, wrong way. Righty-tighty. Lefty-loosey. There we go. Get that little extra turn in there. These are M8s, so they are strong. This whole setup is ridiculous. Ridiculously strong. Choose any which way to get up. I'm gonna like trip and fall on these things and die. We see you holding a big rectangular rod. Yeah, I tend to do that from time to time. Tend to do that. How does that look? It's a little weird, right? It's looking a little weird, but I mean, we got the primary beams up. I said Bemis in the title, and I meant Bemis. That one's still a little loose. Yeah, that needs to be tightened. This one down here. Could use the impact to tighten even more, but I don't think that's strictly necessary. I don't want to over-tighten things yet. Tight, yes. Over-tight, no. But I need everybody to stay in place. Yeah, I mean, with a little bit more connection, that'll be strong. Yeah, I'm angling it purposely because then you can get your feet in and out of this thing. So this will be lower. The steering will be in place, and then when you get in and out of it with the wheel somewhere around here, it'll be like that. And it'll be a little bit more natural to get in and out. So the wheel really should be like right here. And that'll be at a little bit of an angle because it's supposed to be just a little bit facing upwards. And then that'll be adjustable for height and distance for a variety of different people in the car. Now, right now, this seat isn't tilted backwards. It needs to tilt back just a little bit. And then that also gets its own adjustment. So I'll be able to get further away from the wheel still. So steering position is going to be weird. But yeah, that tilt is just so that I can get out. Whoa, what are these scratches? Or marker lines? Huh. Well, that's all right. Whew. Yeah, so then this, and I'll relocate that tilt motor, but then that'll go somewhere around here. Yeah, it really does have to go all the way back, doesn't it? So that the wheel's like there. And actually that does kind of line it up with these beams here, so that can be the primary mounting point, and then I'll have to figure out the pivot somehow. Do, 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 do. And then this, of course, the pedals are going to split into two beams. So it'll be 4 huge beams that'll be connected to each other up here on whatever plateau goes right there. Platen goes there. And then it'll basically be, this whole thing will be like a triangle box. And so it'll be nice and strong. It's kind of extensive, isn't it? But I'll have the wheel, and I'll be able to put a monitor up. Yeah, that'll be cool. I can use that to get up. Shaping up. Yeah, we're going slow. You need a MIG welder and shielding gas and 40 millimeter tubes, and well, you got a portable metal cutting bandsaw. I've got all that. I've got all the stuff, but the welder. That's why I'm using this rail. I don't need that. Yeah, I mean, I could make the angle a little bit more, but I don't think that's necessary because I think this is a good distance. And then we've got just a little, like the pedals just come right up to the front of that. So this will still need like a floor in that section too. But it is coming along. I just need to figure out how to temporarily hold up a couple more beams. I was thinking that I might want to like angle inward, but I don't think these should angle inward because then if I have a whole shelf here, then I'll have room for other stuff like screens, controls, weird stuff. We can put more weird stuff on this. That's what I'm trying to say. And then the beams that I've got over here, I have this stuff, which I don't really know what to do with. This is just a plate like that. If I make that into the wheel mount, cut that to size, use the angles to hold it up. That can be flat or at a controlled angle. And then I could use a right angle off of this in order to make a front panel kind of thing. Maybe. That's a little weird though. It's a little weird. I just wish the mount for the steering was the other way around. But you work with what you got. You work with what you got. What else do I have? I mean, I've got the full beam, and I could put a full beamus there. Or I could put some of the other kinds of rails there that are inch standard. No, that's not really a good idea. So that means I need to cut 1 more beam, and then 2 more beams. So I need to make this one into 3 beams. Let's measure that out. I won't do the cutting now because it's extremely loud and makes a huge mess. It makes like an enormous mess, actually. Just a huge mess. But if I do this as a cross beam, I'll have 1. No, that one's not going to be the same length. Yeah, so I may need to order new beams. What are you talking about? Weak? Aluminum rails are too weak for months of use. What are you talking about? this thing. Once you, what? You don't know what you're talking about. Look at this. 260-pound American, and I can stand on this beam without any deflection. None. This is as stable as the floor. This stuff is inherently strong. What is humming? Something is humming above me. I hear, what is that? Holy shit. Hopefully you guys can't hear that in the audio. What is making that sound? Is it, hold on, is it outside? I gotta open the window to check. I think it's some of my equipment's making that noise. I wouldn't know what though. Nothing in here is powered like that. It's not coming from outside. What the heck is that? Maybe somebody's using like a blender upstairs? Weird. Is it coming from, hold on a sec. Oh, it was the fan. My fan was hitting something and making a noise. I see. It's the floor fan. Okay, problem solved. The floor fan was hitting that container there. And vibrating the whole top. Yes, it was a ghost. It was a good ghost. This thing, if I put wheels on this, I could crash into other cars and break them. And this thing would suffer no damage. It is that strong. Snowblower is fixed, but it may be too late. Too late for you. We get buried tomorrow. Our asses get buried tomorrow. So I'm probably gonna stream tomorrow. And then Sunday, I'm totally unsure about. Definitely gonna be stuck, but I may be shoveling snow all day. All right, move that a little bit. Get the steering wheel on the seat where it belongs. I gotta keep neatening up as I go. So, half of the adjustable steering wheel, the part that made it kind of big and unwieldy, we have tossed. We do not need this plate anymore. This is simply there to provide either a shear structure or something that's supposed to somehow bend out of the way, but I don't really believe that. So what happens is this mounts here, and the steering wheel is on a cart. That's this piece right here. When you get into an accident, this plastic pin right here shears. I don't want to poke my finger on that because I cut myself on that burr. Can I have it? I'm going to keep this because I think I might cut the back here in order to provide the steering wheel pivot. I haven't really decided what I want to do about the steering wheel pivot. I don't need all this, but this provides me with two big bolt holes and the sort of the part that tilts. I could probably do this with pillow blocks or just maybe make something that will bolt directly to the rail. We'll have to see about that. I don't think I have a piece of aluminum that's this big, but that means that this is the primary candidate for it, and I just zip it off, and then I've got this. So yeah, what happens is when you get into an accident and you smash into your steering column, that pin shears off. This brass wire breaks. I don't like, yeah, it has to shear off. Once all that happens, this is allowed to slide backwards. And when it does, it releases the entire steering column. Steering column is bolted with 4 bolts onto these things, and then 2 bolts bolt this back to the back of this thing. And so when this moves, it drops out and pivots on these pivots. So the entire steering wheel, you would hit up against the steering wheel, and then it would drop down onto your legs, basically. It's really weird. The steering wheel like intentionally drops down on your legs. Let's see, like look up a crashed Mercedes-Benz. Crashed Mercedes steering column and the defective steering columns. Wait a minute, what? What is this from? Mercedes-Benz USA has recalled nearly 500,000 vehicles, possibly equipped with defective steering columns. The campaign affects 24 models. Effective models could contain steering columns with broken clock springs. Oh, never mind. These damaged fixtures inhibit steering column grounding, risking suddenly current electrostatic electricity strong enough to cause inadvertent airbag deployment. Okay, that's not what we thought. Show me the steering column. That one is not dropped down. Oh, and look, the steering wheel is even with the seat. Maybe that's what I should be shooting for. Yeah, it's like steering wheel's even with the front of the seat, or just a little bit behind it. That's so weird how in a Mercedes it would drop down after crashing, but we don't see it dropped in. Well, we haven't seen a lot of examples of it. Like, you really need to smash up against that thing. That thing. I'm learning so much today. Well, we have new mounts to do. And I've got to probably cut the beam to fit the steering column. And then I'll have to make like an adapter plate, I guess. Something that's like this, but a lot lighter. Needs to be a lot lighter. And I guess that'll mount above, and then I'll need to cut the rails to be the right distance on that. And then that'll finally mount the steering wheel. The only other thing that I have to contest with is actually getting the motor mounted. And the question is, am I going to use the expanding shaft, or am I going to figure something else out? I don't know yet. There is a path through the middle of the steering wheel. Oh no, but then the bolt goes in the end, so I'd have to pop out of that path on something that spins, and only that little end of it spins, so I can't do that unless I drill a hole directly behind it. That's a possibility. I'm thinking about the clock spring, because I've got this giant circuit board that makes up the clock spring. This was built for the servo. Everything on the servo is huge. The steering shaft in our case is just this little thing. So I would have to redesign this. And I guess redesigning it would mean that we could also mount things like my BMW turn signals, which are compatible. They are compatible. I don't know what Mercedes uses, but that little thing that sticks out, basically I can mount this near the center of the steering wheel, and it passes over this, that clicks out, and then it passes through or undoes the there we go, undoes the stock. That'll be really fun to have, actually, because you go into this and then you hear the clicking. It's just like a real wheel, just like a real boy. Those will never work. Yes, I already said get all the jokes out of the way. And then I've got my high beams. High beamises, headlights on. And doo-doot. Haha. Yeah, that'll be cool. So I guess this will have to go in front of that in some fashion. But we could make that into its own whole assembly. Because yeah, that'll be part of the column that fits right behind it. And this is for the LIN bus. It's the data plus and minus 12 volts. We'll have to figure out if I want to do something else with LIN bus. Like I could make a display on the steering wheel maybe. That's a possibility. This is just such a weird system. I've never seen anything like this before. I'm trying to pop that center pin out just for fun. What I'm doing right now is resting. That was a lot of shuffling around, and I don't want to be all sweaty, so I'm taking a minute to breathe and to pull on the mic cable in weird ways. Here, where's my... This is one of the best tools that I bought. I love these. I love them. Yeah, you could just use a drill bit to punch through stuff, but if you find yourself working on guns occasionally, or just generally with mechanical stuff, good set of pin punches is a nice thing to have. And these are Starretts. Most of them are Starrett. Some of them aren't. Probably have to hit that with a hammer. And actually, I probably do need to use the smaller one, huh? That's definitely not the right one. This one's too thin, I think. I mean, that would punch it. No. Shit. Dropping everything everywhere. Oh, and I have a hammer right here. Too much working on stuff. Everything piles up. Your piles start to have piles on top of them. Tools are under stuff. That's when you gotta stop and clean up. Is nothing ever good enough for you? Do this, father, do that. Everything you're doing is wrong. Oh, jeez. Maybe we do want the larger punch on this. Yeah, there we go. It is the right size. That's hitting against the ground. I gotta go over the edge. Watch streak. Yep. See, it looks like Haystack has had a 450 watch streak because it just says that right there, but it's a 5-stream streak. I got notified in Roboz's chat that I have a 50 watch streak. I don't think I want to advertise that. I don't think I want to advertise that. I don't want people to know that I have a 50 watch streak. Maybe that's something I keep to myself. So would you have to shear the bolts? No, these are tracks for the bolts. Hell yeah, brother. That doesn't want to move. I mean, like, how much of my ass has to hit the steering wheel in order for it to collapse anything? Because, like, this is stuck. This is not moving. That's incredible. That's a lot of force. That's a lot of force for moving all this stuff. So he's a grade 8 bolt. Nice grade 8 bolt. This is just what I had in reach. How much force? Whoa. What the f... That is a lot of force. Did I move it at all? No. I didn't move it even one little bit. No. Big punch. Big punch. No mass behind the ass. Well, that's true. Who are you talking to? If I lend you a CD without scratches, I expect to get them back the same. What? That's... Huh? Is that for another window? Fuck. It's not doing anything. Here's the problem, is that I do have larger hammers. I I want to use them. This is like super stuck on, and I don't know what... Like, this is obviously a pressure fit over here because of the big nub, the big lump. It's probably wedged in there. But, like, under what force? That's crazy. Yeah, I don't want to ruin how flat this thing is. That would hurt the punch. This hurts the punch. I can get a big flathead, maybe. Just trying to light the desk up with the idea lamp. The idea lamp serves to illuminate only itself and the frivolity of your ideas. But yeah, that's okay. So I find that fascinating. I'm sorry if it's like totally boring to you guys, but I find this completely fascinating. This crash structure that we have built into the actual steering wheel of a real car. What happens is you go, oh shit, you slam the brakes as hard as you can, putting a ton of force into the front of the car, into the master cylinder area of the firewall, and then the car slows down giving you even more force behind that brake pedal, which then snaps and you hit a tree. And when you hit the tree, the car stops, but you don't. And so all 278 pounds of American goes into that steering wheel while the airbag comes in the other direction. And all that force is apparently enough to shear off a metal rod, because this thing is either going to get extruded around this corner as this cart pulls back. It'll either extrude this rod all the way out and through, break off the aluminum, or shear, or it's just going to break right here at the hard edge of where the cart is. The cart has solid sidewalls. It's a straight up and down face. So that's going to tug at this thing. And yeah, it's either going to extrude this whole spring piece up and through, maybe until it gets to this angle right here, or it's going to break it. And then this cart, which is pressure fit with the force of 1,000 suns under this aluminum block right here, that's going to pull directly backwards. The bolts are going to keep it on this track, as well as this big mofo right here, this big piece right in the middle. That's going to keep it on the track, and it can move all the way back here. Once this lets go, this cart, man, that's sharp edge right there. They didn't break that. So it'll break this plastic pin, right? This little plastic pin. Where'd it go? Oh, it's on the floor. This little plastic pin right here will break. Like, that is supposed to shear off. And then these two tabs, as well as this piece with a lump in it, will pull backwards, freeing it to pivot on this. So the whole steering wheel will collapse in once you hit that shearing and static friction forces, and shearing over here too. So shear this, extrude this, static friction there. Whole thing comes back like this, and then it pivots down. And so your steering wheel will go in and then down onto your legs. File tools that is rubbing together in a box unless I see something else. What I think each tool in its own home so it doesn't damage the other tool when owner monkeys around with the box. Okay. Okay. File the burr. It's my deburring tool's on the other side of the lamp right now, and I don't want to get it. I was going to do that and just quickly deburr it. I guess I could use this deburring tool. Not that it matters. This thing will never see a car again. So yeah, haha, funny prank you can play on your friends is to get in their car and then push on the wheel as hard as you can until it falls down. There would be less accidents if they replaced the airbag with a metal spike. Yeah, I mean, the whole purpose of this is to have a collapsible structure. There's two collapsible structures in the steering column, and the double U-joints mean that if things distort, it'll just, you know, bend there and not send all of that force directly back into you. And it was a really important update in cars, was to have a collapsible steering column. In this case, in the Mercedes, towards the bottom of the steering column, there's some extra structure there that's made out of kind of a weak material, so that can just bend like a drinking straw. But up here at the steering column itself, if you've got the force of an entire American trying to puncture their sternum on your steering wheel, you let it give a little bit, and that gives a nice time for things to just, yeah. Be nice to your tools so they last longer. There's always something with you, bad direction. I'm not getting into that. Always something. But yeah, so that's cool. That was really cool. Learning about crash structures and steering wheels. Now, we did get the two columns up over here. I need to shorten those because that's obviously not going to be the entire height of the whole thing. But we're slowly piecing this thing together. And it took me like all of yesterday to make two more of these guys so that I could have two beams that come up from the bottom here. Now, if I did just close this off, I would have trouble putting the motor somewhere. I don't know where the motor would go that would be able to, the force feedback motor, this 18-pound motor that's sitting behind my fan, that needs a home, and I don't know where it's going to go. What do I have in my pocket? Do I still have treats in my pocket? Did I do treats with Willow when I got back inside? I think I did. Oh man, I just got a bunch of grease all over my pants. I'm gonna change pants to jeans tomorrow. Do a load of laundry. I can't believe the audacity of having to do laundry. All right, so what else? If the steering column is gonna be here-ish, that means that this stuff comes out and over everything. And so we need to figure out how to shorten the output over here, whether or not I put the motor at the other end of this U-joint. But if I do, that means that pieces of the steering shaft have to be able to expand. Now the splines on the back of that thing are elongated because they are meant to go into this piece. Whoa, I almost cut myself on more metal. More sharp metal out of this stupid thing. Bring this back over. You guys are at a funky angle today because I need to show more of the desk because all this automotive crap is huge. Spelled with 2 U's. Okay, where do I put a big plate of metal? Yeah, I'm totally fascinated by it. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. A lot of moving parts. And I'm sure they did a lot of finite element analysis on all of the different components and stuff in order to get it right, but it's baffling to look at from our perspective. Baffling. Maximum effort, huh? Turn that off. Okay, so this is a whole bunch of sliding parts that we need to kind of arrange. Crazy impressive that you're using actual car parts for a sim rig. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. It's kind of the special sauce of this entire sim thing. This is a piece of rubber that goes through the firewall, I guess. Really weird. Because the other shaft that we have has this, and this little collar up here that allows this to spin independently of the boot. But I want to get this entire boot off of here, and this thing, whatever the hell this is there. This, I think, is just for heat shielding. Usually the exhaust runs kind of near this stuff. What's going to cut that? Maybe my flush cutters will do that. They're a little bit more robust. To get this big weird metal thing. Actually, once we undo this bolt, it'll come off. So maybe we can just get rid of the rubber. The rubbly stuff. Those are pinned in and that's not going anywhere. These are not fasteners. These are rivets. That is permanent. How did they get the other one apart? Oh, they probably pulled it apart this way and got it out like that. So I can actually, oh yeah, here we go. Boop, boop. And then this is a greasy shaft, so I gotta be careful with this. Ew. And this should come off probably this way. Just ripping out the rubber. Why are they not trying to make everything smaller? Yeah. Let's get this off though. I need to get this, it's like a reverse Torx 6-lug. I don't think I have 6-lug hex, so probably just big wrench or small wrench. Maybe small wrench will do it. This thing is just the silliest little wrench that I have. No, okay. It's a channel lock, so it should get plenty of force on this. Oh, yeah, there we go. Did that actually move, or did I just... I don't think it actually moved. I think I might actually have to find the proper tool to undo this. I don't have all of my car tools with me. I have the smaller shop tools, which don't include stuff like that kind of a driver. Let's see what I've got here in this drawer. Historically, I've had kits of those, but I don't think I have that size. And a hex bit won't really necessarily grip that properly. Yeah, so you need well, that's for bolts, but those can sometimes, these smooth-walled ones won't really do the job on that kind of bit. They can almost do the job, which is deceptive, but this kind, I think, can also grip those. But I don't think I have one that's that small. That's small. What are you? Oh my God. Wait a minute, what? This random ass tool that came from some dead guy's tool bin. Because that's what this is an estate sale tool. This weird, super long. I was looking for a set of these. I wanted a set of them. This might actually do it. Or it'll shear the bolt. And we'll just have to use channel locks. Use the vice grips on the big vice grips on them. Does the little one fit? No. Okay, so this is the size. The only problem is it's going to shear off the ends. At least I'll get plenty of torque all the way out here. I think we looked up this tool. Let's see who made it. And the company went out of business a long time ago. What up, 3D lasers? Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew. Lasers. Whew, that actually worked. I cannot believe that. I can't believe I had the tool for that. All right, that makes that much easier. So what I was thinking is that I could actually shorten this if this is a joint. If this isn't a joint, then I'm SOL. This may not be a joint. Oh, wait. Yeah, it is. Ah, there we go. That, I think, is what can shorten this setup. So if I can get this through somehow. Oh, it's in a little twisty whirly gig. Wah! Lurkin, but came by to say hello. I appreciate it. Good on ya. Good on ya. Yeah, so these are the things that I can use to actually mount this. These little slip joints. They're not quite bearings. They're like plastic on plastic, but with the forces that you're dealing with in a steering wheel, they're fine for this sort of application. They're smooth enough. There we are. Okay. Jeez. This crap all over the place. Plastic? It's plastic. It's really, for the forces that you encounter while steering a car, they're putting it into a piece of plastic. That seems crazy to me. I guess it's designed to be smooth and have very little backlash, which it does, but it just seems kind of crazy to me that they would leave it to that. Well, now, okay, so now there's this part, and that definitely can become compact. More compact than all this. And if our motor is at the right angle, this thing simply, I think it might need to have two U-joints in order for this to work properly. I know, same. It's like, I don't want to, plastic for any singular thing that's related to the amount of forces that I'm encountering on a steering wheel. I want to hear about metal, I want to hear about leather, and that's about it. Metal, leather, maybe a big thick piece of rubber, but I mean, so in the BMW, there's one of these things on the drive shaft, and it's not really called like a vibration damper. They call it the guibo. And I'm wondering if that's what you should call that kind of stuff, or should I avoid that word so that I don't get canceled? I don't know. But yeah, apparently the splines are plastic, which is creepy to me. And here, look at it. And if it is a safe word, will it become a word that I need to avoid in the future? Because that can happen too. The internet can just make something up, and then all these old videos of Bother saying Guibo are going to surface. You never know. You never know. This looks plastic. I hope it's not. But all the force of steering goes into this. And, you know, if you hit a curb, this is also transferring all that energy in. Like when you're off-roading, if you're going over big rocks and stuff, you're not supposed to put your thumbs inside of the steering wheel, because the wheel will move with all the force of your vehicle and the rocks not moving, and it can break your thumb. So that's a weird thing that I know that I don't know why I know that. This is also kind of fascinating. I don't know what the hell's going on with this piece. But then this is a crash structure. This is flimsy, intentionally flimsy, and it probably goes near the exhaust too, so it's made to flex around. Now, you know, maybe I could pound this thing into a square again and get another one of these on the bottom piece here, cut it here, and then somehow bolt it back in hard. I do also have another one of these with the rubber and everything. Yeah, everybody will make excuses for me. I don't know if they will, traditionally. So yeah, we can have the length of this entire shaft by just mounting something to the end here. Those two, and if I just wang jangle a bolt through the side of this thing, I think that'll hold it plenty fine. BMW has this kind of weird, creepy bolt. And then they've just got a captured fastener on a thing, and all the dirt's getting all over my hands. Nasty. That's actually a pretty thin pole. But up here it tapers out, so, and that's welded. Look at that, that's welded. What? If this will fit here, and I think it will. So that's another solution, is just bolting that through. Tight. Yeah, maybe it is to keep it from breaking your thumbs in an accident. Maybe that's why that's plastic, because that'll be the failure point of your twist mechanism, and it'll be just below the amount of force to snap your thumb off. It's possible, you know, we don't have their engineering files, so we'll never know. But if I put this on the bandsaw, I could cut this right now, and then we can drill a big hole in it. Or I could do that later. But first off, like, I don't even know where I'm putting the motor yet, so this is just something that we need to experiment with. Probably need to figure out what the mount is for the rest of the steering shaft to the rest of the sim rig, and then I'll know what angles I can deal with. Because, like, these only bend so far. They crash into themselves and don't allow any more movement. Plus, they're only supposed to be at a certain amount of angle, otherwise they can do weird stuff with when things are spinning. Spinning like this. This is crazy stuff, though. Learning all these different crash structures in the car design. Crazy. This one doesn't have the limitations of the other one. Oh wait, maybe it does. Yeah, it does. These, for some reason, these pieces have all of this extra metal around them. They can only work at like a very small angle because it'll crash into itself. Yeah, that makes them so much harder to mount. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. I probably need to put all this stuff on something again so that we can adjust the wheel and see how it moves so that I can get the spacing of everything right, which means that I probably need to drop this over here and do the two beams, and then I don't know, I'll have to cut a beam in order to make that angle, or I cut the beam for this, which I need to decide which one actually needs to be done first. And you know, order from McMaster Carr another like $70 beam, because the offcuts from these are going to be tall, or they're going to be small. They're too small for me to use. Dear God, this is getting annoying. All right, well, let me get the brake pedal off, and I'll mount this beam down there, and so I'll need another one of the angles, but we'll just see what's good on this thing, you know? What's good? The My Winter car looks a lot like the What's Good car, which is a video for it's a music video that is like a pixel animation of two guys in like a convertible car, and it's this Dutch rap group, and they're really good. But it just reminds me of that every time I watch somebody's My Summer Car stream. I'm like, what's good? You know, I might actually cut this off. Just get the bandsaw and cut this off, And this piece, while not like remountable, I can't remount it to anything. I could maybe use one of the angle irons like back here to hold it, because that's about the right length. So I'd have to cut this, maybe face this piece a little bit, or find something that I could tap into, maybe up here. What's good? Doo-doo-doo. Off my mind, and all I ever wanted was good love. Sorry, the song's just stuck in my brain. Oh, if I wanted a wheel lock, I could do it with this. There's just a little piece in there that I could have a solenoid hit up against. Maybe it's designed in, oh, that was an old comment. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, we're learning that things are a little bit more malleable than I thought they were. Mounting system for this might be just a flat plate and have bolts that go up into the beamis, because the beamis will come across it like this. And so I could put that anywhere. Maybe I should put it back a little further. But the further back I put it, the more it's impossible for me to get the angles right to mount the motor. That's going to be kind of a really difficult part. The pedals, I know that they're going to mount to a cross beam, and then I'll come up with something for a floor. I don't know what yet, but they're pretty comfortable where they are. They're pretty good. If I were doing like a road trip, I would probably want to get like a piece of diamond plate and put that down on the floor, just as a place to put my legs, my dumb legs. Probably better if this is here, and then we can mount the column. Where does that move? How do you pivot? It's got like a weird pivot that it does from back there. So maybe the column needs to attach, because this whole piece moves. That whole thing moves. Oh boy, this is a lot. I've bitten off quite a bit. I'm currently attempting to chew it, but it's not easy. Like the little off scrap pieces don't really get us very far. If I had a little shorty piece here, that could make up that part, and then I can try to get this mounted. I don't think any of the old aluminum would fit there. Or one of the flat pieces, but then I would need to somehow attach the hinge to it, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure this out. I think it should be one of these big guys, because that just matches everything else. If I've got like a 2020 rail going across this, it's going to be kind of awkward, which most of the old setup is made out of the 2020 rail, but it would just be a little thin. I think maybe the only pieces that will be done in 4040 are going to be this piece and its cross beams, or the two of these and the cross beams, and then this and the cross beam for that. And then that makes a really strong structure between the seat and this area. Everything else doesn't have to be super strong. It's just the real car parts need to be super strong. The joysticks and stuff like that, I can have like a tray that comes across there that they all mount to, and that'll just be in the smaller rails. It doesn't need to be as crazy. It's like you're sitting inside of a 3D printer. That is true. I don't know who's using 4040 for a 3D printer, but that's going to make a beefy printer. This is the kind of printer that you could drop off of like a mountain and it would still work. The big industrial stuff where you look at it online and you go, that's not so bad. I'm actually worried that that's too small. And then you order it and you're like, it's the size of a house. It's the size of a house. Why is it the size of a house? So which crossbeam is more important for me to get first? I guess probably the big one for steering, because that'll locate more of this thing. So that's what I'll have to do next. And actually I'll measure it based on the width down there, not up here, because up here, these can kind of pivot a little bit. Pivot, marker, big marker. I have to wait until like the whole house is empty, or I schedule to use the chop saw. And there's the bell. Sorry, the big beam that I'm holding it in like the middle, and it's just kind of like hitting stuff like a bell. It's the 3D printer that prints other 3D printers. No, that's the 3D printer that prints things that break other 3D printers. Maybe he needs a print bed heater for a heated seat. We got to find out what those controls are, by the way. I've looked around online, and there are some repositories of BMW CAN bus messages. We got to figure out what that steering wheel is going to say. Here's a big marker. I got big beams and a big marker for my big beams. Look at the size of that marker, Chad. Ugh. Okay, anyway, let's go over here. Because, like, I don't know if the sports seats are heated, because I don't think I saw wires for the seat heater, but they might be there. They might be there. And if they are, I want to be able to use them. What's good? And all I ever wanted was good. Can get you out of my mind. Being musically oriented and streaming does not mix. People do not like it when you sing. Unless you are a professional singer. All right, so I have a mark. I have a thing to cut. How much beamus is going to be left over? There might be enough beamus left over on this one for me to do that right angle coming back. Oh yeah, there is, definitely. More than enough, actually. Too much. Too much back here. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that extra beamus. If I make like a plate, a much lighter plate that fits to this, that fits up there like that, goes across, and then I somehow do like angle blocks. You're not a pro, but I like your voice. Well, I appreciate that very much. I was a pro. I used to sing professionally. I was in a select group during like high school, a select group of singers, and I've always kind of worked on my voice, but not really. And I should have been more serious about it, because it would have been better for my professional life doing presentations professionally as I do now. You can't show your penis on stream. That's against toss. You mean my big marker? You guys like my big marker? Do you like it? Howdy, did we break it yet? I drew blood. I've already drawn blood. Have we broken it? Yes and no. Yes and no. It's a chat of a marker. I know, I don't know why I have this. It's not erasable. Sharpies are in weird supply around here because the smaller ones are for writing on paper, and they do okay marking stuff. I don't have any of the middle size because they've all blown up. They've all been used for too much stuff. And so the big weird one is the one that sticks around. Nobody wants blue. The beam jokes are infinite. You guys are just looking at my beamus while I'm out here streaming with my beamus. My beamer? Sima? Which one of you has the keys? All right, so I got to cut that one. I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that. It's going to make a shit ton of noise, and then I've got to get the vacuum down here. Blood is good. Lubricates until it's dry, and then it becomes a thread locker. Why do you know this? Why are you so cheerful about this? Yeah, that saw is just a bitch in terms of noise, especially when cutting these things, because I got to go slow because it chips off little bits for each cut. So we're not doing that right now. I got to do that real soon though, because I want to make progress on this project. I don't know when I'll do. Maybe when it's snowing out. People will be like, "Ah, it's so tranquil out here in the snow," and I'm sitting there going, yeah. I mean, you saw how loud this thing was when it was just bumping up against. I gotta wear my full like gun earmuffs in order to not damage my hearing when cutting these things. Oh, you're such a pansy with that PPE. Yeah, all right. Thanks, safety man. And then this beam is gonna have to be at a little bit of an angle. I'm just trying to think about this. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. If I just put ear pro on, I can cut the beam, and then I've got a vacuum for twice the amount of time it takes me to cut the beam. That's the only problem. That's why I'm not cutting it right now. It wouldn't be too much noise. It's only 3 o'clock here, but I'm just thinking about what direction we can go in now. And I've got to invent some kind of a mount for this back piece. But this will be a plate. Let me see if I can find a piece of aluminum plate. I'm trapped. Help. Help. Helpers. Help. Help. Bend it with sheer strength. Yes. I always like when they have, in movies and stuff, when you have your superpower character and they do something like bend a steel rod, they have the rod be like burn you hot when they're done bending it, right? Because the internal forces of bending a rod like that creates a lot of heat. So it's always nice when they pay lip service to that whole thing. What was I getting? Oh, a plate. That's going to be like a big piece of plate. I don't know if I actually have anything. I should have something that's kind of close. That plate we used for the brackets I used up. It's gone. Gone. I have giant pieces of aluminum. Those are way too big. That would just be the kicking the can down the road. Flatulent Gonad was like, hey, why don't you just use carbon fiber? Like, yeah, let me run out to the carbon fiber store. I've got all my carbon fiber. Carbon fiber's growing on trees. I'll just go out and pick some. Pick some off the vine, as they say, with the carbon fiber. Let's just dust it up. Hold on, let me snort a row of carbon fiber. Like, normal people don't just have carbon fiber sitting around. Just because Flatulent Gonad worked at a carbon fiber place making stuff out of carbon fiber, he somehow thinks that like everybody just happens to have just sheets of carbon fiber that they could use in order to build this stuff out of. It's a little dusty. I do have a bunch of these box sections. My brother bought a bunch of box sections of... That was a good beam joke. Oh, you could play BeamNG with those beams eventually. Yes, I should BeamNG with the beams. I could beamish on the beamish. And I'd have all the beamish of the beamish that everybody could beam the beamish from. I don't like these because the side that's the outside side is gross. It looks terrible. The good pattern is on the inside, so I don't know what to do with... I've got a bunch of these sections of just box carbon fiber. Saw a cool short the other day. Blacksmiths started their forge. Yeah, by hammering a piece of... It was actually... They hammer a cloth, but they hammer the metal around a little piece of cotton, and it actually burns the cotton, and they can start their forge that way. It's like the most masculine way to start a fire ever. I'm gonna start this fire. Oh, it's on fire. It's so cool. I actually do have other stashes of carbon fiber in this shop. I've got little pieces from drones. The testosterone fueled, yeah, the testoster forge. Her own. How much does this thing need to mount? Well, probably should be a good amount. And these screws are good to face inside of a piece of aluminum. So if I had just like a little bracket like that, so I don't need much. I just need, what I'm really looking for is like my 4mm aluminum, not the 6mm stuff. I don't want to have to order more stock. I think I've got stuff here. It's just going to take a little bit of searching in the scrap piles for something large enough. I do have all kinds of like little cuts. I don't know how much reduction of my supply of plating instead of beamises. Unless we go beamises to beamises and I somehow make a thing out of some of this stuff. Take like a little section of 2020, 2040 and make that into some kind of a wheel adapter. But then I would need, the shelf would need to be higher up, and I don't want to keep moving up. These are going to be the armrests. So I've got these sections that can be armrests, and then I can attach things like joysticks to these. And I might do it so that I have like an angle on it, possibly, So it'll like angle upwards and I can put other like weird controls on that. I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet. But that'll be like custom building brackets and doing other weird stuff with the beams. But those rely on having everything else already sorted out, which we don't. This is a very exciting project that I had just kind of rolled out on me suddenly via my brother's generosity. My big brother dropped off a whole heck load of responsibility on me to build this thing. Some big pieces in here. This might be good if I need to invent some kind of a mount. I used to have these angle irons. I only have a piece of one. Oh, here's a piece of plate. That's a pretty good one. But that's the 6mm stuff. Come on. I think I've used the 4mm in everything, and that's why I'm not finding it. That's why I'm not finding it. It's because I've already used it in every single application that I could find. And I'm probably going to have to buy stock in the sizes that I want. I got to go to that metal supplier that's around Philly. There's apparently a really good metal supplier in Philadelphia, or just outside of it. I got all the goodies, and they're cheap. Oh, old angle iron. That might be useful. If it's large enough. This is large enough. This is a big piece of angle iron. This is good stuff. I bought it back when metal wasn't so expensive. There's another piece of angle iron that might be useful. Okay. This does not need to be super strong. I don't need this to be automotive strong. I need this to be 2 horsepower, 3-phase motor strong. Will you add vibration to the seat? It can help you with your back pain. This isn't one of the luxury massaging seats. It's not that kind of thing. What's good? No, because that'll make it stick out too far. Unless I mount it like back. Use the big boy. And I'll certainly get to the edges. But then I can't really get in there with a bolt. If this is just a little bit longer, I could have cut this up for it. Or I have it mounted to the back of the beam. No. No, I don't really like that. No, it's too much. Too much, too much. What else can I do with this? 3D print. I don't know about 3D printing. I don't know if that's gonna... We've had bad luck with 3D prints, but making some big bracketry here could work in 3D printing. I could have the wheel pivot on there too. It's just if somebody sits on this thing wrong, it might blow it up. My back's hurting watching you go through that drawer. I've got a good back. My back does not pain. No pain. No back pain. I don't really have back pain. It can occasionally get tired, but I sleep on like a hard floor sometimes just because. And I think that improves things. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't need a backiotomy, but yeah. I don't know. I'm doing pretty good for my age. Also, slinging a desk job for most of my life is probably what kept it healthy. Well, sometimes the bed's too hot and I need to sleep somewhere, so cool myself down. I told you I run hot. Or I told Chad earlier today I run hot. If I'm carpooling with friends, I will steam up their entire passenger car area during the winter. Significant amounts of steam. Okay, well, I'm going to have to figure out what my scratch situation is because I do have stuff that's like 8mm thick. That's too thick for this sort of thing. I need just like a 4mm sheet or beam, and that would be perfect to use for this. It's this stuff here. That's also 6. Hold on. Let me see what I think about 4. I'm going to get a piece of 4mm. One sec. Un momento. Gotta find the thing. That is way too thin. It's all angle iron back here. This would be the piece that I could use today if I wanted to build this. This right here. But this is 6. 6 is a little bit much. That's a bit much. You know, if I was going to, I could just cut out the other mount. This would be about the size, though. That gets me out to the edges. With 4 bolts here, that would be countersunk a little bit into this thing. And then I would have the bolts for the rail. This is the size that I want. I want to find a sheet of 4mm thick, because this is enough that I could face the bolts in. It would be weak for like a real car, but it would be perfect for this application. So I think what I'm going to have to do is buy a sheet of 4mm aluminum. Then you do the Titanic style fingers on the steamed up window, yeah. The Dayton Audio BST1 is perfect for the seat to get the sub-bass vibration into the seat motor and road feel. Listen, I'm not going to do that. My entire sim project is on the fact that I am using real car parts. The beams and stuff are a little bit beefy for what I mean, they're super beefy, right? It's kind of overkill. Then again, like being able to stand on the beam is nice. Yeah, basically, I want to use real car parts. That's sort of the whole thing about the automotive part of this. So putting like a seat kicker in, I don't necessarily really want that. I don't need that in this system. Giving you guys the ability to turn on the seat heating through Twitch channel points is also another one of the goals of this project. So we might do that. That's an easy one. That'll be funny. But doing like stuff that helps me like feel the road and stuff, no, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. It would be fun, but those things are usually like prohibitively expensive. They always cost so much money for what they are. All right, steering shaft goes down here. We're going to look at what aluminum prices are doing, which is not going to be a good time. I could, you know, that cart that the thing mounts to, no, it doesn't stick out beyond the wheel itself. Unfortunately, if I could use that, that would have been the easiest thing to do. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Heated seats, you sound like you don't need it. I know, but they're already there. Like, the seat is a digital component, and it has a bunch of stuff in it already. And one of those elements might be heat. Like $60 for a 50-watt transmitter, 4 ohm. But then what drives it? What audio thing am I plugging it into? Or is it going to have to be like a servo motor controller or what? All this stuff is in my way. Move. Jeez. This stuff everywhere. I mean, I could also cannibalize this and make a mount out of it. Well, maybe not. That's old and manky. And then it's like, could I use some of these other brackets? No, I don't think so. I don't think those would be useful in there. Gotta be careful of my load cell. This thing was $75. And it's just sitting here on this desk with my big marker. Aluminum. $10 a sheet. Come on. $20. 15. Yikes. All right, well, that's what it's going to cost, and that's what it's going to cost. I'm going to have to get another plate. Because I need that 4mm plate material in order to make more brackets. How will you translate the steering to a signal for the digital sim? I have a Granite Devices controller. It's the universal sim setup controller. I'm hoping that we can load open force feedback into that, because the Open FFB board is a really good board, and it speaks the Granite device language. So you can actually plug it into the driver that I've already got. But the Granite Devices controller has all kinds of stuff plugged into it. Granite Devices controller does not speak CAN bus. We need the Open FFB because it speaks CAN bus, but I've got one of those drivers. I don't have additional drivers for like speakers and stuff like that. It's really just for the one force feedback steering wheel. Then I've got all these car parts. I've got the seat. I've got this shifter that my brother gave me because he upgraded his BMWs. He bought a BMW, and I'm like, that was dumb, because those things, the high mileage BMW is more expensive to fix than it is to buy. There's a high mileage maintenance that they have to do, and there's a lot of stuff that goes in there, including an entire radiator. But he did it because he likes to work on cars, because he's as much of a freak as I am. So part of my whole history of this setup is that I played My Summer Car when it first came out. I decided, hey, you could play this pretty well if you had one of them force feedback wheels, huh? And so, 10 years later, I finally finished the actual force feedback system. I bought a Mercedes wheel many years ago, like 2012 or 15 or whatever. Bought a Mercedes steering wheel off of eBay, figured out that it speaks the LIN bus. The LIN bus is actually a digital protocol that looks a lot like one wire, and it's a way to speak slowly to accessories that are like human speed stuff, so like your buttons and your steering wheel buttons. So we were able to actually brute force the steering wheel, get signals back from it. I had to invent a slip ring that would work with a giant industrial motor and make a Mercedes wheel mount for that. That's what the motor that's sitting behind the fan is. You can't see it, but it's a big 20-pound three-phase industrial motor. And we got the pedals together, and we made a weird mount for it that mounted to my desk chair. And so I played My Summer Car, and I actually won the rally with that setup, with real pedals, with a real steering wheel, a 3D printed shifter. And that was really cool. But when I hit the brakes, well, the chair wanted to twist. And so my brother gives me a call after buying this BMW, and he says, hey, so I put a whole new interior. I put a luxury interior in the car. Now I don't know what to do with the old one. I'm like, can I get the seat? He's like, yeah, I'll give you both seats. So he brings one seat because he's merciful. Having two of these, I was like, man, I could make one into a desk chair. Making an automotive seat into a desk chair is a lot. If you want to do like a proper desk chair, not one of these failed racing seat company chairs, and you want it to be like a real car seat, you need to buy like those thin chairs. It needs to be like Tesla seats will make good office chairs. But yeah, anyway, this is a very comfortable seat. This is from a BMW F10. We've boiled down the wiring harness, and we got all the right wiring and stuff, so that I've got these terminals right here that take power and digital signal. If we're doing that, why don't we put everything on the CAN bus? So this thing speaks CAN, and so we hooked it up in order to just be sort of a precursor to the rest of the project. What I'd like to do is have CAN running into the Raspberry Pi. I have some older accessories that don't speak CAN. Those will need to get CAN bus in order to speak to the rest of the system, because what I envision for this project is that we have one CAN bus. There's so few things. I've got joysticks, I've got a throttle, I've got foot pedals. There's a bunch of analogs on that. I've got the shifter, I've got the wheel buttons, I have the seat, I have turn signals now. All of that stuff is not that much stuff for a CAN bus system that's running at 500 kbps. So this thing speaks 500. I hope I hope that the seat does. We can convert every other accessory using Arduinos into speaking 500 kbps CAN bus. If there's enough bandwidth on the line, and that's something that we're going to have to just run into, we're just going to have to run into that problem. If there's enough bandwidth, and if the Raspberry Pi is fast enough with its GPIO, we can have a couple microcontrollers that will listen in on the CAN bus. Why not Arduino at all? So just 1 minute. So if we can have the Raspberry Pi doing the CAN bus, what it'll do is it'll receive CAN bus signals, and it'll send CAN bus signals to a couple microcontrollers. And those couple microcontrollers, along with OpenFFB board, can be all of the accessories that I need. So I can have multiple devices. Depending on the game, it might want multiple devices. I can have multiple devices that will do analog and digital together. And I can have OpenFFB as one device that'll do that together. And then in the Raspberry Pi, and this is my brainchild that I hope works, I would love to use Node-RED. Node-RED, because you have just simple flows. And so my dream is that I open up an IP address and I get the Node-RED interface. And on one side, I have all the buttons on the system. And on the other side, I have all the outputs of the system. And I just connect the dots. Oh, the range of that one's weird. Let me drop in like a change node so that I can, keep it within this range. Or let me drop in this there. Oh, I want this button to actually reset my seat position. I want the chat, who's also coming in on Node-RED, all the interactive stuff like the fart box, the fart noise maker that is a physical device that's in the shop. That's this right here. This thing is actually on Node-RED. It's using MQTT to get a message from Node-RED. I have a node that is Twitch chat. So what I could do is make the Raspberry Pi into its own node for interactivity. So Twitch would be able to activate something with channel points and move my seat, for instance. That stuff is really easy to piece together once everything else is up to snuff. I'm hoping that we can get enough bandwidth on if the Raspberry Pi can receive and send the CAN bus signals fast enough. I really hope so. Because I don't want delays on the buttons, because that would be very frustrating. Get that delay way down. A microcontroller would obviously be the fast solution for that sort of thing, if that's what we're going to end up doing. I can put a Teensy 4.0 on it. That's fine. I would then probably have to have like a settings text file that would say, here are all the inputs, here are the outputs that are associated with them. I want it to be easy. I want to just be able to, drop down lines. You should trim glass, put it in front of the monitor, and add 2 wipers for more authenticity. So the windshield wipers are like in the way. I can't see, chat. What are you doing? That would be very funny. But let's get there. Let's get to the point where I can. Let's get to the point where I can do that. So for any future brackets, I don't think I'm going to be using the 6mm stuff. That's going to be very expensive and it's a lot of work. Although I may not need more brackets after this, considering what we've done with the mounts over there. I'm going to need to triangulate it. I'm going to need to have that last little piece that connects it. So Chad can spray the windshield. That's a great idea. Why don't you do that yourself? I have a lot of work ahead of me. I can't do it. Also, I don't want to drop a piece of glass on this thing. I want to have something between me and the monitor. I don't even know where the monitor is going to go. I have one of those big monitor arms, the ones that I use on my regular computer, and I could set it up so that the monitor can just move around. That just means when things shake a little bit, the monitor will move. I don't think any of this stuff is going to shake. I don't have a chat. All right, well, I'm not going to drop a piece of glass. I wonder if the microcontroller can be static features and then use software to redirect and recalibrate it rather than the RPi. I guess the RPi gives you a delay for the thing to boot up. Yeah, and that's annoying. If I save the Node-RED configuration and use that, or I use something like the audio tools that Paul Stoffrigan has, those audio tools where it's like Node-RED, except that what it outputs is like JSON. So if I parse the JSON of the settings file with the microcontroller, because again, the Teensy 4 can like take a memory card, I would rather drop in, deploy a Node-RED flow and just be done with it, right? I don't know about what you could do to like replace the Node-RED deployment schema with something else. The microcontroller stuff is later. We're trying to figure out the physical stuff first. If I can sit down in this thing and have all my stuff in it, then I'll feel a little better about it. I mean, this project goes forward no matter what, right? We will figure this out and we will get that all situated. And I will not, again, this is a bother pet peeve that that Natsu has inadvertently triggered by just having a funny idea, is that I'm not going to spray myself with chemicals on stream. I give you guys an interactivity layer in this stream, and you guys better thank your lucky stars that you get it at all. The original inception of this channel, the only reason that I was able to partner with Twitch was because this board here burns the names of subscribers onto itself using a blue laser. We got to finish that project. This stuff came up because my brother like came home and went, here's a seat, and then he left. He's gone. He just threw the seat at me, and I was like, ah! And then I fell over and broke my leg. But we need to actually this is like a lot of responsibility. We need to get back to burn the subs because I need to give you guys that thing too. That was the big pièce de résistance on this channel. So as soon as like the sim setup is sort of fixed and underway, the faster that can happen, the better, right? I want to get all the physical stuff done, and then I can get the brewing table out of here because I haven't been brewing at all in the past decade. I think it's been 5 years since I brewed something. So I'm going to move the brewing table out. That means Julian can't come in and play music, but it means that I can put the sim setup there, and then nothing will be in the way of Burn the Subs. I can do that wiring on BTS. I can move the cameras over there, and we can sit over there on a stool, and I can actually, you know, do up the wiring as we chew the fat. So I'm hoping that's the direction things go in. So got a couple things to solve with the sim setup until then. I'm gonna order some plate, and we'll be able to put plate up and put the steering where it needs to be. And I guess it'll be so that you won't be able to pull the steering up. It's kind of cool that it was able to become just a little bit more compact. But once I get that up on the beamis, I can figure out what the angles are, and then I can get everything connected to everything, and we can have the 2 posts in front and the 2 posts from the side will make up sort of that whole gantry area. It's going to look like a shuttlecraft. It's going to be like a Star Trek shuttlecraft sitting over by my thing over there. It'll be fun though. I mean, I love the fact that this is all using real car parts. So they've got that heavy feel of a real car. One of the things, like if this is speaking CAN bus, it's possible that chat will be able to turn on the force feedback. Because generally when if I'm doing the My Summer Car Rally, I turn the force feedback off because it's a detriment to your being able to actually like control the wheel and move it quickly. So it's possible that I could give chat the ability to like up the ante on the force feedback and really, because that thing can fight. It can fight quite a bit, and it's like difficult to steer. I don't think it can hurt me, even though I love saying that it can break my thumbs, but I don't think it can actually break my thumbs. I took a class a year ago from a guy that built one of the shuttlecraft. That's kind of cool. Was it the dinky little one, like from the early seasons? Because I love that one. That one, you're just like, oh, I hate this person that I'm traveling with, but they're right there. There's nowhere else to go. The Deep Space Nine ones were like a whole Winnebago. But those early shuttlecrafts were like the most awkward thing. It was, again, the only thing that rivals those shuttlecrafts is in the Federal Bank of Philadelphia. There's an architectural firm that I used to work at on like the 4th floor, I think. Everywhere else is a bank, but because they designed the bank building, they said, our office is going to be here. It's called Ewing Cole Cherry Brought. The elevator in the bank building has glass doors. Not glass, sorry, mirror doors. Those are mirrored doors in that building. So 6 o'clock in the morning, getting into work, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, you're getting into work, you've barely had a cup of coffee, you just rode the train all the way in, and just people everywhere. You don't want to talk to anybody. You're slightly hungover. Get into the elevator in a suit with all the other suits. Everybody faces the doors where it's going to be safe to look. The doors close. Everyone's looking at each other. It was the best. Everybody's looking right at each other. Everybody's glances go, whoop. You just, oh, okay. This was when smartphones were in their early stages too. So not everybody could look down at their phone the whole time. Everybody was staring at each other. I loved it. It was great. You see if you can find a pic. Okay, I've been stalling to see the pic. All right, I'm going to work on this and get this into a state. I think that's all I got for today. And I've always said, like, if I don't have anything more for you guys, I'm just going to end stream. I'm just going to end it all. Nobody noticed that I trimmed my beard from being completely homeless. It's still a little lumpy, but I think I'll grow into it a little bit. From Deadline, Dead, Blade Runner, Star Trek. What the heck? I wanted to go into special effects for movies and stuff, but those guys are so awesome that I don't think I would have any competitive edge to get into that career. Plus the hours probably are terrible. You knew Gene Winfield. That's fucking awesome. That is very cool. Died March 4th. Oh, that was what year? Do we have a year on this thing? 2026. I don't know what year this is, but that's cool, man. I wonder which. Oh, it's that one. It's the old shuttlecraft. I It's this one right here. Oh, these are all lashed together with a zip tie. I got that one. I got that one right here. This one does a really cool lighting effect on the back, and then if you press the button, it goes Shuttlecraft to Enterprise. Shuttlecraft to Enterprise. Spock here. Merry Christmas. And have a Happy New Year. Like, Leonard Nimoy's Jewish. This is kind of funny. I guess he needed a few bucks and decided to do the voice lines for the Hallmark ornament. I got all the other ones too. Most of these are sort of blown up. Not just because it's Voyager, but because fucking, I guess they got a power surge or something. Did I have a Defiant? Oh, that's the, whatever, the Delta Cruiser. This one is such a piece of shit. What were they thinking when they put this in the movies? So bad. Ugh. It's not a complete collection. It is a complete disaster. But we gotta open some of these up and fix them. Something ain't right with a lot of those. Some of them are like melted where the bulbs were. The Batmobile, that was in a Star Trek TNG movie. Those TNG movies are, they're ass. They're really bad. They're really bad. Keep those directors, Berman, God, terrible. You look like a young Santa Claus. Shut the fuck up. You shut up. I had a guy in the Philly airport. He's dressed up like a Santa. And his face lit up, and he points right at me. He goes, "You would make a great Santa." And I'm like, fuck. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just want to get on a plane. I don't want to have Santas accusing me of being a Santa. I'm like, I'm not going to get gray hair. Sorry. No. I'm losing the weight. I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to lose more weight. It's going away. It's all going away. Here's a memory alpha page. Oh, that's cool. What does it say on it? Hold on. I'm going to highlight it. I think I'm also going a little hypoglycemic, so I do need to actually wrap up. Let's see what my blood glucose level is. Do we have one on here that does? Not on this scene. Huh. There it is. Yeah, we're going low. So I do have to wrap it up before I, pass out. Cool. I love it when normal people are around Star Trek people. That's a lot to read. I'll have to look at that sometime. That's cool though, that that guy. Very cool. So where are we with this? I need to come up with a couple more beamises. I probably need to order another one of these 5-foot beamises, which are not cheap. Quick, give a bother, milk and cookies. I'm gonna go drink orange juice. That's how we do. That's what we do around here. We did like a little bit of the physical stuff, and we figured out some things about the way stuff is gonna mount to this system overall. If I can get away with angling these beams, maybe even a little bit more than this, that can, well, actually just angling these in general can give me the basis for the steering initial position. It's gonna be kind of weird, but then when I put these two beams that were previously, where am I pointing? It's like backwards. I'm gonna have two of these and a beam across them that the steering, that the pedals are gonna mount to. And then I have a mystery beam that's gonna be at a mystery angle that'll tie the steering into the pedals, and that'll triangulate all the forces so that this thing can hold up an entire house. I mean, these beams are just, this profile is just too strong. I should have gotten the 3030s, but there's more 4040 hardware. So I'm probably gonna be on the line for making a couple more like custom brackets. And then once, these are all the initial frame stuff. This is all the like body force, like, full musculature stuff that's going to go into the setup. So I can get away from the 4040 beams. I can start putting stuff with the 2020 beams up to everything. I'm not letting that catch on. We're not letting that catch on. Please don't. Do not call me Santa. All right, anyway. I got to be super serious about that stuff and come off harder than I actually feel, because you need to like set a precedent. like I need to break somebody's arm, and then chat listens. Otherwise, they don't listen. So, and it keeps coming back. So I'm gonna start banning people that call me Santa. How about that? Anyway, you guys, I don't have anywhere for you to go. I don't know who's on right now. Let's check. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull a tomato and ban the word Santa. You can't say milk in tomatoes chat to keep people from being weird. So if I ban the word, then you guys will stop, and then somebody will try to talk about Christmas, and they'll wonder why they can't type that word. I'm serious about banning people for that kind of thing. I will do it. I don't care. Like, I don't care. I will just ban you. Let's see. Wait, when did I sub to Zoil? Or follow or whatever? Okay. Yeah, so Wool's Lab is doing City Skylines. That would be somewhere for you guys to go to see more stuff. In Day 9's chat, you can't say Mario because of all of the slash fiction. That's disgusting. I'm going to go look that stuff up and put it in my notepad. In the meantime, yeah, I'm not going to direct you guys anywhere else. There's some streamers doing stuff. Rabaz is doing a different game, and we've got Willow's Labs out there doing things. Let's see, do we have like a... Oh, let's show more. There we go. Ella is actually on playing My Winter Car. She only has one viewer. She probably just started. So Ella, sorry, it's... Yeah, Ella, just Ella. ELLA would be a place to go. Anyway, I'm gonna bounce. I gotta go get carbohydrates in me, and I will see you guys tomorrow when we get buried under 45 feet of snow. And then Sunday, I would like to stream, but I'm not sure if I will. In the meantime, I don't have enough material to make brackets. I'm going to try to get that cut done. Maybe I can get it done tomorrow at some point. And we will reconvene and we will make more progress on this project. I will see you guys then. And yeah, I don't have an end card because I forgot to make it at the beginning of the stream. I did the thumbnail,